smash the like button and subscribe. What's up?
My dad wants to say something. I don't know. Here.
Okay.
All right, so I'm not real. This is going to be brief, and I could have misunderstood some of the things that you guys were saying, but it seemed like you said you believed Iran would not pursue nuclear weapons. You took their
No,
word
I
for it.
I believe they were. I just think that we stopped that by specifically having the negotiation with, or that we had under Obama, and Trump pulled us out of that negotiation, that agreement that we had. So that's bad.
Okay, so help me understand, because I think a lot of the issue with the younger generation is putting words in people's mouths. So I don't want to do that. You feel like it was all hunky dory and under control under Obama's policies regime, and when Trump came in, then the threat of nuclear war or the Iranians obtaining nuclear capabilities increased. Is that what you're saying?
No, no. Restate it one more time. Sorry.
Okay. You think Obama's policies and administration had everything under control as
I
far
think it was
as
preferable.
Iran preferable versus what Trump's doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Trump's policies have increased our chances of being attacked with nuclear weapons, or have increased Iran's capability
Yeah.
to acquire them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my mind around that. Yeah, I don't mean that as an insult.
Well, don't just listen to me. Listen to your president.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran.
Okay, so you have to dumb that down for me.
Yeah, he was saying that about Obama in 2011, and he was saying that Obama is not going to be able to get negotiation done with Iran, so he's going to start a war with Iran.
Okay.
And that's exactly what he did. He was criticizing the thing that he did himself.
Well, see, appeasement and negotiation are not the same thing. What about 10 years ago, Marco Rubio's speech when he was a senator from Florida, talking about this? I think he in fact said, don't quote me on this, but it's just memory, that in a decade or so we'll be at war with them because of this.
So I mean, like, that's what Rubio said, and Rubio was a part of going to war with Iran. Did you know that? He's like on the Trump admin, so that just sounds like him following through with his own goals.
Wait, no, not in 2016. He was.
Wait, with 2016, he still has his own goals to go to war with Iran. Like
Rubio
has had this goal for a long time
to go to war with Iran.
Yes.
Yeah. See, I can't speak on that. So, but let me ask you this: do you think that a group of people that and my son's telling me that I have to spell out some words, or I'll get kicked.
I don't know. It seems. I've been watching your lives, and it seems like TikTok
it's only like drug names. You have to say like F drug or M drug or C drug, something like that. Outside of that, you're pretty good.
I can say the word death.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a group of people that chant "Death to America," and they're smart enough to know that when they fly a plane into a building that they're going to die, right?
Yeah. If someone does that, they know that that's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. And these are people that think that 12 virgins are anxiously awaiting their arrival.
Wait, I'm sorry. You know that the people involved in 9/11 were mostly from Saudi Arabia, right?
Okay, so I wasn't saying that these were Iranians. This is the same ideology. Whatever.
No, they're not, and that's why we're under the Trump administration aligned with Saudi Arabia, but we're not aligned with Iran.
Well, so I guess we're not going to get anywhere if we can't. There's some fundamental things that we would have to agree upon to even continue this.
What do we need to agree upon?
Well, that the Iranian leadership. Let me ask you. Are you saying the Iranian leadership, were they to obtain weapons capable of attacking America, would not do it?
I bet they would, but what you're not understanding is that they're not going to attack the United States. It's just that they would have weapons able of doing so to be able to use that as a mechanism for defense.
Okay.
Likely.
Well, I just want to stop you real quick. I find the word bet. You said, I bet they would. You may be right. You may be wrong. But bet is an awful flimsy word, in my opinion.
That's what when I say that, I just mean that's what I think is most likely, right?
Most likely. Okay.
Yeah, like when I was using it in a colloquial sense. Like,
wait, do you think if Iran had nukes, they wouldn't nuke us? Is that what you're saying? Or they
no,
would nuke
I
us?
don't think that they would. I think they would use it as a deterrence. Right?
No,
How
I agree.
everyone
Do you-
uses
do you- do
nuclear
you-
weapons. That essentially establishes sovereignty. No one would be able
So
to.
who-
So it might cause more peace because then the U.S. and Israel can't just like attack them.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Who on earth, what group of people or organization, whoever, if they had the capability to nuke the U.S., who would?
I don't think anyone will, because nukes are better at deterring other people from attacking you than to use it against other people, because inevitably there's something called mutually assured destruction. If you nuke someone else and they have nukes, they're going to nuke you back, and then everything's destroyed.
Yeah, but that,
So
that
people
just
have
is
more
common-
of a internal self-interest and perspective to use them to establish deterrence rather than to use them to blow up other people that do have nukes.
Okay, to me, in my opinion, common sense states or dictates that philosophy applies to superpowers.
It applies to everyone, because people
So-
use nuclear weapons to establish sovereignty and to use a deterrence to say that
Well,
no one
let me
will
ask you
attack
this.
me because I'll just nuke them.
So you're saying this, or were you saying that was the Saudis that flew the planes into the Twin Towers?
Yeah, that's not a direct nuke that
No,
was
I'm just
placed off.
asking you. Is that what you said?
Is that what I said?
Who
What?
flew? Who
Farther
flew?
than the galaxy. It was
Who
people
flew?
from. It was mostly
the
people
planes
from
into
Saudi
the-
Arabia.
into the- Saudi Arabia. Okay. Do you think Saudi Arabia would
That
nuke
doesn't
the
necessarily
US?
mean the government was involved. I'm just saying mostly people from Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Well, whether it was the government or the people of Saudi Arabia, I don't think the people in those buildings really give two shits.
Okay.
It's the same. I mean, what? I mean,
So what's your point?
I would ask this about.
well, wait a second. You said that that they wouldn't nuke us,
Yeah.
but they would fly a plane into our
There's
buildings.
a massive difference.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia is not going to nuke the United States of America.
There's a big difference.
I didn't say Saudi Arabia would. We're merely establishing the fact that
Are you saying Iran?
unless I misunderstood, you said nobody would nuke the U.S.
Yeah. Nobody's going to nuke the U.S. Yeah.
if they had the capability.
I have an argument.
Yeah. No. Like government, for example. Like, could there be like some individual that wants to cause mass murder that would try to do that sometime in the future? Obviously, there's a possibility that someone would try to do that.
Yeah.
But like we're talking about people who want to establish governments and control over a certain society. They have these self-interest from their own perspective to use them as a mechanism for deterrence rather than to use them against other
Yeah,
people.
let me say something different. So you would agree that there are individuals, probably quite a lot of them, that I believe if they strap on a vest or suicide bombers, for lack of a better phrase, that believe that 12 virgins are awaiting them, anxiously awaiting their arrival to have their way with them for eternity or whatever. Do those people exist?
So there are some people that have those interpretations. Most people who are Muslim do not hold those interpretations. In the same way that like there are plenty of things in the Bible that are obviously horrible that you would say that most people don't hold those horrible interpretations, but there are plenty of people that have utilized their specific religious views, especially since you're bringing this up. You guys are LDS, right?
I am.
Just your
It's fair
dad?
to say.
Yeah.
Okay, is it also you? Are you also LDS?
That's just not a clear answer to that, but I'm very familiar.
Okay, well, I mean, like the point I would bring up with that at least is that do you know who Helen Kimball is?
Helen Kimball?
Yeah,
And no.
the 15-year-old that your prophet married.
Are we talking about Joseph Smith or
Yeah.
Brigham Young or
Yeah, Joseph
Okay,
Smith. So
okay.
would you say this about your dad? Because your dad believes in a prophet that literally married a 15-year-old.
What age in 1835 were most women married?
Let me ask you this.
Whoa,
When
is
was
that a
Loretta
justification
Lynn
for that behavior? I thought he had direct conversations with God.
Hold on. At what age did Loretta Lynn get married?
I don't know.
Was it not 14, 12, 14, something like that? Somebody.
I disagree with any of these things. Any adult marrying a 14, 15-year-old, a child, should be literally like, I mean, I'm not going to say it on the live for purposes of TOS, but Jesus Christ, dude, prison for the rest of their life.
Hold on. What's TOS?
Terms of service.
Okay.
I'm serious. This is someone we're talking about, like an adult marrying a child. Okay, like regardless at what point in history we should condemn this. Wait, by the way, you were just trying to say that this is true for Islam, which, by the way, you don't even have to hold this interpretation if you're Muslim.
Wait, no. Are you? I never said. Maybe you're not saying this, but if you're suggesting I said this is true for all of Islam, I did not say that.
So what were you arguing then?
Islam.
So radical views. So there are radical Christians in this country.
For sure.
In our position of presidency. Trump, literally, you know that people are they're like saying that Trump was sent here by God, and they're like praying over him because he was sent here by God.
Well, that's a little ridiculous. Yeah. No, I don't. Was Trump sent here by God? I mean,
no.
I've never
definitely
said that.
not.
And
maybe by the devil.
I don't think. I don't think. Well, I mean, I certainly you don't really mean that.
What Christians are flying airplanes?
Well, I don't really mean that because I'm not Christian, but like I metaphorically do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think you're using a little bit of hyperbole, which we're all guilty of. But
yeah, when I was mentioning the devil, not saying that he's a bad person. Trump's horrible. I can give you reasons to believe that too. Like, I think I've gone a little bit easy. Like, there are plenty of things I can point to. Like, for example, if Trump called for the execution of some Democrats because they said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders, would you still support him for president?
Was his tongue firmly planted in his cheek?
Okay, listen. You can. There are. Let me say this. There are plenty of people that support Trump that don't agree with everything he says.
Of course.
And everything he does.
But like, is this a disqualifier? Him calling for the execution of some Democrats who clearly did not commit any crime.
Okay, so are you talking about the what's the guy's name? Mark Kelly, the astronaut or whatever, and those guys that
all they said was to not follow unspecified unlawful orders. If you get an unlawful order, do not follow it. That's all they said. Totally within your rights of doing that. Nothing wrong about saying that. Trump said it was seditious behavior punishable by death, and then reposted someone saying AJ&G them. George Washington would.
Listen, let me tell you a little bit about me. I've been a fan, and not necessarily a political fan, of Donald Trump for about 25 years. And let me, before you start calling me Satan, let me clarify that. Well, let me just make it easy. Trump says some of the stupidest, most idiotic things I've ever heard. Somehow they're funny when they come out, but I think that the problem is when we, and we're probably all guilty of this, when we like somebody or support them, we're going to interpret certain things they say however we like it. We're going to apply whatever context we like. I mean, I can guarantee you if I did enough research, I could pull plenty of things that Biden or Harris or whoever, everybody has said idiotic things in moments that, maybe weren't their finest.
I'm sorry, but you would not be able to give me an example of Harris or Biden calling for their political opponents.
No, I didn't. Okay. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think that Donald Trump really would execute Mark Kelly for saying that? Do you really think that?
I don't.
Absolutely.
Hold on,
if he had the ability to, absolutely.
Then I mean this with all due respect, and how old are you? 20-ish.
23.
I sincerely admire you for your interest in these things, and you're obviously well read, intelligent. You make some good points, but I just can't. I can't, in good faith, continue a conversation if you really believe that Donald Trump would have Mark Kelly killed because he said gave instructions to the military to not follow unlawful orders.
Yeah, he literally posted. So then, why did he post on social media to hang him?
He actually did that.
He actually did that. Like, I'm not trolling. I'm not making this up. I'm not adding extra context. I'm telling you explicitly what he said. And like, if any Democrat did this, people would not be overlooking this. If I said this about Charlie Kirk, people would not be overlooking this.
So the reason that Mark Kirk is still alive is because Mark Kelly is still alive is because the forefathers did not, as they constructed the Constitution and our government infrastructure, gave the power for the president to pick and choose who he wanted to hang or kill or execute or whatever. That's the only reason that Mark Kelly, and I don't, I know there were some other ones, but he's the only one I know off the top of my head. The only reason they are alive is because Trump did not possess the legal power to kill them.
Yeah, but the fact that that's the only thing that prevents him from doing it is a bit scary, is it not? Like, that's the only thing that prevents Trump from literally executing his political opponents?
From your perspective, yeah. But
so that's why I said absolutely. If he had the capacity, he would do it. You understand my point now, right?
Yeah, we disagree with that. And I find it hard to believe that you think that Donald Trump would have these people murdered, because that's what it would be.
Why else would he say it? Like, I'm sorry, you can't just go and say things like that on social media when you're the president. Yeah,
is Donald Trump not the... tell me some political figure or celebrity or
like, it's not even just that he personally thought it. It's that he decided to post it on his public social media account.
Some people, okay.
I would say since he's the president, you guys.
Yeah, like, yeah, I think your son's totally right there. You have to be able.
Donald Trump is the most unique president we've ever had.
Wait, should you be able to take the president seriously for what they say?
You should be able to, but in Donald Trump's case, common sense tells me you shouldn't.
Okay. So I'm not disputing you that it hasn't happened. Like, obviously he hasn't executed them directly yet. But the point that I would make is that it shouldn't even be something that a president is doing, because that's like the most authoritarian playbook type of thing you do. Like, that's what Stalin did. That's what Hitler did. They take out their political opponents. They call for the execution of them who dissent. And that's how they specifically create fear amongst people to then control them. Fascism specifically relies upon fear to control them.
You mentioned Stalin, and Stalin's funny because that actually contributed to Stalin's death, because he got rid of all those doctors, and when he needed them, they were all gone. But
that's literally something that will probably end up applying to Trump.
Okay, so here's the big issue I have with, unless I'm misinterpreting, it seems to me like you're taking everything Trump says as literal. Okay, now if you think if literal in the sense that he believes whatever he says, he believes it should go forward.
I'm taking him calling for the execution of some Democrats on his public social media account seriously, to mean that he actually thinks that. Yes, I am taking that seriously, and I don't think that's an unhinged or crazy thing for me to do.
Okay.
Like, I don't think that the president should be doing this on either side, and I think that if Biden did this, people would be making a bigger deal about it. Remember when Biden said that people were garbage? Do you remember? Do you remember what happened after that? He called MAGA garbage, and literally people were absolutely so mad at that. But like, Trump calls for the execution of specific Democrats, and like, he's able to get away with it because people don't take it seriously.
How has he gotten away with it?
How has Trump got away with it? He's president.
Yeah. Okay, but so Biden got away with calling MAGA whatever he said he called him, stupid or Okay. Well,
I mean,
translate that into real life. What he got away with it? Okay. Everybody gets away with all kinds of stuff.
Okay,
but the point was, I think we're diverting. The point was that you actually believe that Trump would have these people killed, right?
If he had the legal capacity to do it, he absolutely would do it. And hell, if Trump had the legal capacity, I might be on that chopping block. Genuinely.
Didn't he post like a AI video of like, was it Harry Sisson getting like dumped all over?
Literally Harry Sisson getting.
I mean,
I'm not
okay,
saying that that's the same, but that's kind of a small example.
Okay. I don't even. I mean, I found that humorous, and
of course
I'll be honest with you. Well, of course it. Okay.
I find that incredibly unprofessional.
I'm not a professional.
Yeah, I mean, imagine the president of the United States. Can you imagine if Obama dropped a video of him shitting on conservative commentators?
Unprofessional. Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying it was unprofessional of me to find that funny. Now, I found it.
Well, yeah, that as well.
Well, I mean, as you grow in life,
I think it's absurd. I think the only way to find it funny is how wildly absurd it is that he's posting a video of him shitting on a random TikToker. Like that's that to me is what you could possibly find funny, but that's not finding the joke that they were trying to make funny. That's like finding how absurd the scenario is funny. Like that's a completely different concept.
I would agree with you specifically because he's president, which means you have to take it more serious. Like you shouldn't laugh at that. It was just some random guy who was known for doing that wasn't the president.
All right. So let me ask.
Yeah, you might think it's like immature or something, but like it wouldn't be like as much of an issue as like the president doing it. Yeah.
So you watch that exact video, and somebody tells you this is, John Smith. You may find it funny.
A little bit,
but
because
if you find the exact same thing,
I wouldn't even find a video of someone making an AI slop video shitting on like random people funny. Like. I don't think that's like a funny thing. It's like AI slop, like genuinely. I think the only thing you could find funny about this is how wildly absurd it is that he can do this without as much pushback as he should have got. Like it is absurd that he would find the need to take away from his time from being president of the United States to post a video of him shitting, an AI video of him shitting on Harry Sisson. Like I can't even fathom that. No. Before the election, if you asked me if that would ever happen, no possible shot would I think that's possible of happening. That's how ridiculous it is.
And most people, and I'd say most staunch Republicans would agree with that prior to Donald Trump. That's why I say he's the most unique and interesting president we've ever had. So,
in my opinion, yeah, but in like a very disturbing way. I mean,
okay, so who was? What were the consequences of that video?
Nothing. But for sure.
We're not saying there are broader consequences of that video. We're just saying like that's what this guy's spending his time on as president. He on the toilet is deciding to post up videos of him shitting on Harry Sisson rather than like worrying about the country, right? Like what? Like imagine if Biden did that. Like if there was
two things at once. Okay, I mean, so I think that. Moderation is the key to life.
Sure, but you can only do so many things as president. You can do more than one thing, but you can only do so many things, correct? So if you can only do so many things, why is one of the things that he's doing shitting on Harry Sisson inside an AI video?
Yeah, it was unprofessional. I've never said it wasn't.
Yeah, like remember when Obama wore a tan suit or ordered Dijon mustard or took a selfie from the Oval Office or wore a helmet while riding a bike? Fox News was freaking out about all of those things.
Okay, well, let me say, let me first tell you, I lean conservative, but I don't care for either party. Okay, I think they're all hypocrites. I think they're all in it for their self-interest, and I've resigned to the fact that if I'm going to vote or have an opinion, it's going to be who's going to do the little bit better job, or I hate the term, the lesser of two evils, or whatever. So
how would Trump meet that criteria?
Would you be the lesser?
Are you what? How is he the lesser of two evils between him and Biden or Harris?
Harris, yeah. Between him and Harris, how is he the lesser of two evils?
I don't. That's for another day. because we're getting all over the place.
I mean, that's what we do on these live streams. If you want to have the conversation, we can talk about a bunch of different things relating to Trump. It's no big issue.
Yeah, I don't. No, I respect that, but I'm not in the same space you are. I just wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that that Trump is. I mean, think about if you take his word for everything that he said. He knows more about everything than everybody in the world. Nobody knows more about whatever. I mean, there's so many.
Would you say the same thing about Biden when Biden was president? Would you say he knew more than anyone in the world?
No. This is what Trump is saying.
Oh, of course.
I'm not saying he does.
He clearly doesn't. He's lying, right?
Yeah, you could call it a lie, but but I mean, who cares? He says some crazy things. I mean,
who cares that he's lying? I mean, isn't it a big issue that you're president of the United States would be lying?
I said who cares about some of the crazy things he says. That I'm specifically talking about. Nobody knows more about blah 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 blah. I mean, there's so many examples in the last 10 to 12 years.
Can I have an actual president again, please? Like seriously, I feel like it's embarrassing on the world stage. Our president is not presidential.
No, he's not.
We're not voting in content creators that we like just because they're content creators. We're talking about a president of the United States, someone to lead the free world, right? He's the opposite of that. He wants to be the authoritarian controller. What's that?
Definitely by the standards of his predecessors. Also, but context also matters, and as time goes by, there is. Technology and circumstance make it harder for presidents to have any private moments. I mean, it's just it's a good policy, in my opinion, to generally, instead of condemning what somebody says immediately, ask a few questions like, well, what was the context? And I'm not saying you do this. You probably do some. I mean, I think it's human nature to do that some. But, in the grand scheme of things, if he says some stupid, idiotic things, I mean, George W. Bush said some really dumb things.
Yeah, I know.
Biden said some really dumb things.
Not even comparable, though.
One other... Well, okay, that could be debated, and you're going to ask me to give me an example. I'm not prepared to do that right off the bat. I would say Kamala Harris probably has it.
The issue is that Biden might have unintentionally said something incorrect, but Trump intentionally says these crazy things.
Okay, so how would you know he's saying these things unintentionally?
Who, Biden?
Biden? I think that's pretty obvious.
Well...
I think that he had cognitive decline, and clearly, in certain circumstances,
the
main issue that people had would be with his ability to communicate his positions.
Let me ask you this: does he have more cognitive decline than Trump?
No.
Yeah, see, I don't see that. That's really hard.
Because the way that he has cognitive decline is in a different way. Like Trump is extremely conspiratorial and insane and ridiculous. And it's harmful in that way. The way that Biden was in a manner in which he was, it's it limits his ability to communicate his ideas, but it doesn't really harm us in any meaningful way as a society.
All right, see
genuinely, how is Biden being a bit old like that harmful to us as a society as a whole, in the same type of way as Trump, believing all the crazy shit, starting a war with Iran, and doing all that. At least he said no to Israel when they tried to get him into war, right? An offensive conflict with Hezbollah. Trump says yes in that scenario and goes to war with Iran.
Yeah, I'd have to look more into all of those things, but I think that you're. What this feels like is a very generalized statement, and there's probably a whole lot behind the scenes that. Let me put it this way. I think people that have some of these strong opinions and are so quick to label Trump and others Biden, Obama, whoever. I mean, the thing is, you could turn all these things around. As an example, if Trump says something, the Democrats are just going to railroad him for it. Well, if the circumstances, and the Republicans are going to say, "Oh, it's great. I'm going to tell you all the reasons why they defend it." Well, if the circumstances were exactly the same, only it was Biden that said it, then the Republicans would, in general, do the same thing.
So
they condemn it. It's we're at a
so
position.
What you're essentially saying is that Biden, if he were to have said it exactly what Trump said, they would condemn it. But because Trump said it, they're not willing to? Is that what you're saying?
What are you specifically talking about? See, I'm talking in generalities, and I feel like that you're maybe, unless I'm misinterpreting you, you're bringing up talking about specific things. I'm talking in generalities.
Okay, I guess maybe we're misunderstanding each other. Is there anything else you want to add or talk about before I go on to the next person? Think of the glasses.
What?
Is there anything you want to add or talk about before I inevitably end up going to the next person here?
Oh, yeah. Well, no, just I think that Trump is the president, right? He's still a human being, very, very flawed human being. But I think that, and he is easily the least presidential president that probably ever existed. I think that's a very safe thing. Even though, we have, little to no context or audio access to all the things that each president in succession is open to more scrutiny, just because there's no private lives anymore.
Could you bring up some of the like weird stuff that Trump has said? Because I've talked to my dad about this before, and he doesn't like completely like deny it, but he'll kind of, I'm not like attacking you, guys. He'll have some like kind of justification for it in a way, kind of. Just talk about that.
Yeah. So, there are plenty of examples of things that Donald Trump has said, and I feel like many ways that you could see it. Do you have a daughter, Pratt?
I do.
You do? If Donald Trump went up to your daughter when she was 10 years old and he said he'd be dating her in 10 years, would you still support him as the president?
I mean, so he says that, and 10 years later he runs for president?
No. So he went up to a 10-year-old girl and he said he'd be dating her in 10 years. And I'm just saying, suppose that this 10-year-old girl were your daughter.
Wait. Well, see, this is where context matters. Are you referring to
this is 1992.
What he said about his daughter?
No, this is what he said about someone else's daughter. It was some random 10-year-old that was going up an escalator when he was having a CBS News interview, and it was caught on a hot mic that he said this to the 10-year-old, that he said, are you going up the escalator? She said, yeah. Mm-hmm. He said, can you believe it? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. And she goes, I can play the audio for you if you'd like.
So Donald Trump is, in your eyes, is disqualified. And I'm not, this is not me. This is the problem I have. Usually with my son, what I'm about to say, he will turn this into me saying that I okayed it or whatever. So you're saying that Donald Trump saying that he would date a 20-year-old who is an adult disqualifies him to be president.
Him going up to a 10-year-old girl and sexualizing them and saying he's going to be dating them in 10 years when they're 20 years old, yes, that is absolutely pedophilic. That is wrong.
Hold on.
It's definitely grooming behavior. And like, if that happened to your daughter, would you have an issue with it? I think the answer is yes.
No. Hold on. I didn't say yes or no. Do you agree that Donald Trump's intent and what he meant by it matter? And I'm not saying I know what he meant by it, but I have a hard time accepting that you know what he meant by it.
Obviously, and I think his intent here in this scenario is bad and to be creepy.
Okay, so you think that. I respect that opinion. So you think that what was do you think that she was you felt sexualized by that?
Yeah, why do you think she responded with going, I mean, it's a 10-year-old.
Trump is
This is a fifth grader, dude. Like,
Trump is
would you be okay with Trump going up to a fifth grade class and going up to random fifth graders in the classroom and being like, "I'm gonna date you in 10 years"?
Okay, so did he actually, and does he actually think? Did he get her name down and her address, and he actually think, or was that a really
He sees a 10-year-old going up an escalator with her father, and he does that.
Wait, so this was in front of her father?
Yes. Listen.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure at least. I'm pretty sure the father was there.
So it would be worse if it wasn't. Would you not agree?
I think it's bad either way. I don't think, regardless of whether or not the father's there, that's bad.
Is it worse? Is it worse if he says this to her alone?
It's bad in both scenarios, the same degree.
So it's no different.
Yeah, it's the same. It's just as bad.
No different. No different. So what if this was a close family friend?
This is some random person. And
if
it's a close family friend, I would not be friends with that person anymore. Why are you saying that to my daughter? Genuinely, like if you would just still be cool with someone who would say that to your daughter, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, seriously, dude, like, who says that to someone's daughter?
You're saying I'd still be cool with somebody and saying that I still support them for president when it's either them or Kamala Harris.
Well, you're trying to bring up like a friend, like a close friend. I'm saying, would you still be cool friends with them? No, you wouldn't. You'd have a huge issue with them.
The reason I'm doing that is because context matters.
Okay, so if you're talking about the president, the point that I'm making is that if it was your daughter, answer the question directly, would you still support Trump for president?
If he said to my daughter, who was 10, that he would perhaps be dating her in 10 years when she was 20, correct? If he said that, would I still support him years later for president?
Yeah.
It would. So let me say this. I doubt that statement alone. Well, let me ask you this: if you agreed with every one of his policies and blah blah blah, everything else, minus that one statement, you would support the other. You would not support him.
Would not support him. I actually, you know what my view is? If someone's been held civilly liable of sexually abusing someone, criminally convicted of sexual abuse or anything like that, it should be illegal for them to run for president. So, for people, by the way, that's a way bipartisanly we can limit this from even having to be a concern in the first place. But we have too many people that are willing to defend this. This should be something bipartisanly across the board we should all be able to agree upon. Let's do it now so that no one in the future decides to do this.
So I just want to, I have a real problem with people putting words in people's mouths, and this is why I'm clarifying. You're saying that anybody at any time in their life, if they say to a minor that when they become of legal age, that they
I'm referencing broadly, like the fact that he sexually abused people, been held civilly liable of sexual abuse, because that'd be a mechanism we can use to identify. But if in this hyper-specific circumstance we have an audio recording of someone specifically saying this, yeah, I think this would be sufficient reason to say I wouldn't support them for president.
See, this is the issue. While I admire you for a lot of things, and you're obviously a very intelligent young man, and keep it up, but you don't let people finish what they're saying, and you jump from.
I apologize. I thought I was addressing the point you were trying to question.
Well, no. Well, first we were talking about Trump being disqualified because he said to a 10-year-old that he'd perhaps be dating them when they become of age, and we shifted from there to him being convicted by a court for sexually abusing somebody. Those are totally different things.
Yeah,
we never finished with my daughter had that being said 10 years old. Hey, Trump is a weird guy. He might have actually thought that he was complimenting her. Who knows? I mean, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. I mean, he's perhaps the most unintentionally funny mouth breather on the planet. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's no perfect system. There's no perfect politician. In fact, in my opinion, if you can find a politician on either side that's a pretty decent person with mostly decent ideas, then you got a winner. So I think they're all garbage in general. Aspects of them all are garbage. There's Everybody has skeletons in their closet. No matter who's in, there's going to be legitimate complaints. There's going to be legitimate. Sometimes there's no way to please everybody, because when you when you make a law that benefits a group of people, it inevitably makes another group of people suffer. And so.
Wrong. Not all policies that help people inevitably make others suffer.
I didn't say all policies. Say all policies, but often policies do that. So,
okay, I don't even know if that's necessarily the case, but sure, we can accept that that's still irrelevant. The point that I would make is that, one, he's not funny. It's not funny for him to be a predator and for him to sexually abuse people and for him to literally make comments like this, sexualizing little girls.
Hold on. See what I just said.
So, by the way, I was trying to explain. I was trying to explain, and you're cutting me off.
No. Well.
He's mad because he thinks you're putting words in his mouth.
Yeah, I understand, but like. Couldn't I have said the same thing about you when you were saying it about me and you were getting mad at me cutting you off? I could have said that you were.
Well, because you're continuing with a thought predicated on me feeling or saying a certain thing that I didn't say or think.
Okay, what did you not say? Go ahead.
Well, you'd have to go back to the.
He didn't say that Trump making jokes against minors was funny.
Yeah.
He made a generalized statement.
I said Trump was funny, and you turned that into me saying that Trump saying just things to minors was funny.
I mean, I thought that's like a claim you were making about that because you just had referenced that prior. But if that's not what you meant, I apologize.
And I made the point that Trump has said some ridiculous things that are laughable. Okay, and when I say laughable, I don't mean I agree with them. I just like, can you believe he said this shit?
Yeah, but in the context of a conversation about him saying stuff about minors, that would make sense for him to come to the conclusion that you're talking about stuff that he said.
Yeah, it was seemingly implied based upon the conversation we were saying prior, but it's okay. You can say that you don't think that. That's fine. The point that I want to criticize then is that you said everyone is the same. Both sides have done these horrible things. It's not true. You can't give examples of Kamala Harris going up to a 10-year-old girl and saying she's going to be dating them.
No. I didn't say both sides have said sexually inappropriate things to minors. I said, see, that's what I'm getting at. Play it back. I never said that. I said both sides in general, both sides say ridiculous things. And whether their base either supports them or doesn't based on who says it.
Okay. So that wouldn't be something relevant to this conversation then. Saying everyone has absurd views isn't like a way to respond to someone, trying to sexualize a minor or being held civilly liable of sexual abuse. The reason why I brought up the held civilly liable of sexual abuse point is that people shouldn't be allowed to run for president if this is true, is because I was trying to demonstrate that broadly about Trump, I already believe that people like him shouldn't be able to run for president of the United States, because I would absolutely hold individuals on my own side accountable for the types of actions that Donald Trump himself has engaged in. But broadly speaking,
right to vote. But are you saying that him saying to a 10-year-old, perhaps I'll be dating you in 10 years, is sexualizing her?
Yes, absolutely.
I didn't ask you, son.
Sorry.
Well, we both agree.
See, I would have to, I'd have to know a whole lot more to based on that.
What?
No, I'm not ready to make that claim. I'd have to see it. And
play the clip.
Details.
Okay, I will in a second. I want to ask him this question. If he said he'd be dating a 5-year-old in 15 years, would you be okay with it?
Wait. First off, you were saying, now you're asking if I'm okay with it. Before you were asking, would that disqualify him as president? Those are two different things.
Okay, then I'll restate that to say that would it disqualify him from being president if he said to a 5-year-old that he'd be dating them in 15 years?
Let me ask you this. Do you think that let me preface it by this. Donald Trump has diarrhea of the mouth. I'm sure you would agree with that, right?
But no. What? I'm confused what this is supposed to mean.
Donald Trump has diarrhea of the mouth. Would you agree with that?
I don't even know.
Are you not familiar with that term?
To be honest, I don't even know what that means.
Okay.
Just like he says bullshit or something? Is that what it's supposed to mean?
Look it up on Google later. Huh? Okay, whatever. So, let me ask you this.
Can you answer my question? Because you want me to answer all these questions you're asking, but I am not
That's
getting an
because
answer
you're
to
putting
my
things in my mouth.
question.
But what's your question? What's your question?
Yeah, if Donald Trump said this to a 5-year-old, say be dating them in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
Well, so who's he running against?
Harris.
Okay, so let me ask you this. No. Yeah. See, you're getting all hot and bothered, but
Well, like you're asking me questions instead of answering my question.
He's asking clarifying questions.
Well, I'm asking clarifying questions.
Okay, ask another clarifying question.
Because part of Donald Trump having diarrhea at the mouth is same thing as he's not presidential. It's
okay
along the same lines. Do you think that Kamala Harris has ever said anything? Okay, no, so I said it wrong, right?
Yeah. So has ever said anything?
Okay, that brings up another point. Do you think that I said that intentionally to disrespect her?
No, that's why I corrected you with the pronunciation.
Okay, no, that's fair, and I believe you. But a lot of people think that. So,
everything but answering the question. I'm sorry. At this point, this is getting ridiculous. Like you're grasping on anything you can grasp on to not answer the question directly.
No, because you're leading me down a road that includes me saying certain things and okaying certain things. If Kamala Harris, do you think that she's ever said anything in her life that would disqualify her from being president?
No.
You don't think she's ever said anything that if the public knew would disqualify her from being president?
He means in private as well.
Yeah, I'm talking about in private. No? Well, then there's no point in us continuing on this particular subject.
How is there no point of us continuing with the point that we were making? Because I don't think there's anything Kamala Harris has done that would be disqualifying, specifically in terms of things that she said.
You don't
at least in comparison to voting for Trump, because like it's Trump or Harris.
Donald Trump has been in the public eye for twice your lifetime.
Okay.
Perhaps more.
Okay, and
there's a whole lot more material than with Kamala. I would venture to say that. Did I say it wrong again? I'm not doing it on purpose.
That's okay. You can just say Harris as well. The point that I want to make is that please answer my question. I would love an answer to my question. You're professionally not answering the question. Okay. If Donald Trump went up to a 5-year-old.
No, I'm careful to not have words.
If Donald Trump went up to a 5-year-old and said be dating them in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
Let me ask you this.
Wow.
If he said it to a
wow.
No, hold on.
Wow. Can we get a count on that, please? I'm sorry. This is insane.
Hold on. No, because you're not getting the point. If he said it to a 16-year-old,
is this Groundhog Day, dude? I can't get this question answered.
Would it if he said it to a 16-year-old?
At this point, these are not clarifying questions. Okay, like I was trying to be very charitable with you. These are not clarifying questions. Okay.
Okay.
This is you absolutely pivoting from not answering the question. Let me ask you something. How many questions have I answered without him answering this question yet? I think a million.
You are. Well, there's a perfect example of hyperbole.
How am I being hyperbolic right now? You're the one not answering the question after like how many times?
A million. You just said a million times.
Sure. I was a bit hyperbolic with that. I didn't even realize that I did that. I apologize.
So, at what point? Let me ask you. At what? You're grasping, in my opinion. That's the point
I'm grasping. I'm asking one simple question you can't answer.
No. Okay. I'm asking another simple question.
Yeah, and I've already answered how many simple of your questions. How about this? How many more questions do I need to answer before you will answer this question? Just let me know.
One. At what age is it okay for him to say that perhaps when you become of age, I'll date you?
He didn't say that. He said
no. At what age? When like in other words, if they were 16 and he said in 2 years or you said 10, so 4 years when they're 20 or whatever.
30 plus.
So he couldn't.
Because of how old he is.
Yeah. Wait. So.
Yeah, like I think it's weird for someone his age to be saying that about anyone like that. I'm gonna say that.
Very. All right. So it's not common, but
He can be saying
it's
I'm
not
going.
hard to
And by the way,
find
let me clarify. Let me clarify.
20-year-olds that marry like 70-year-olds.
Let me clarify. I'm not saying if he said like a 10-year-old, I'll be dating them in 20 years. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if he said he would date a 30-year-old when they're 30 to a 30-year-old. Like once you're at that age, there's not a big issue. They're 30 years old. They can consent. They can make those determinations themselves, right? That's up to them. Now, if we're talking about a 10-year-old here, he's sexualizing a 10-year-old who clearly, right, is in 5th grade. Okay?
So
that's absurd. He was like he's 50. He was 50 years old.
So doesn't understand that much, right? The 10-year-old.
Obviously. So now let me ask this question because I answered a question. You said only one more question. If Donald Trump went up to a 5-year-old and said he'd be dating them in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
Well, you know, so he hasn't, and I mean, we could go on with hypotheticals. Let's just stick with what he has said and what he hasn't. So I'll go back to I'll go back to what I'm saying. Just because he said to a 10-year-old that perhaps in 10 years when she's 20 that he would be dating her, no, that does not disqualify him to be president.
So if you went up to a 5-year-old and he said he'd be dating them in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
Why don't you ask if it's a 1-year-old?
I can. Now, would you answer the question?
Okay. I mean, it's a hypothetical.
What's wrong?
I know, and you can answer hypotheticals.
Well, we're talking about what he said.
If there were 2 red balls and 2 blue balls, how many balls are there overall?
Circumstances.
Wait, if there were 2 red balls and 2 blue balls, how many balls are there overall?
Perhaps. It's
wow.
a very weird thing. It's a very weird thing to say that to a 5-year-old.
If there were 2 red balls and 2 blue balls, how many balls are there overall?
And I would certainly look into it further.
If there were 2 red balls and 2 blue balls in a bag, how many balls are in the bag?
Well, I was never good at math, but I think that would be 4.
Okay, it would be 4. That's a hypothetical. You just answered a hypothetical. Okay.
Yeah.
Now that you've answered a hypothetical, could you answer the hypothetical that I brought up? If he went up to a 5-year-old and said he'd be dating them in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
I would have to. I can't say. I would have to know the details.
I already gave you the details. He went up to a 5-year-old and he said he'd be dating them in 15 years.
Who is this 5-year-old? Is it a family friend?
Who is this? It's some random 5-year-old going up an escalator.
And when is he running for president?
Dude, does that matter? Like, I'm just asking, would you vote for him? If this is something that he's done, would you vote for him?
If you said this when he's 30, it's quite different than when he was 70 because he's a lot more wise and you would think
this was 1992. He was in his, I think, 50s.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So what I've acknowledged that it's weird but I'm not ready. I'm not prepared to answer. Would I vote for him?
No, but
based just on that limited information.
I think that you have enough information. Like literally, take the scenario. Like literally, all you have to do is take the scenario with the 10-year-old. So all you have to do is take this scenario with the 10-year-old and change 2 numbers. That's it. Change the 10 to a 5 and change the 10 to a 15. That's all you have to do. And in that scenario, would you still vote for him?
Look, these are just generalized vague stuff. Okay.
Okay. How about this?
I acknowledge that it was weird, and I acknowledge that Trump says some idiotic things. I mean, what else you want me to say? Like,
okay. How about this? We're gonna play the audio, and maybe this will invoke a different response.
Obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before.
Oh, sorry. Wait, wrong one. I apologize.
Yeah,
that's him bragging about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent. I apologize. Wrong one. Here's the video.
Predatory, Chris.
Thursday night. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
We'll play it over one more
Thursday
time.
night. You're going up
yeah,
the
you don't
escalator?
need to.
I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?
So take it. Are you going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 15 years. Can you believe it? Would you still support him?
I said can.
He did. No,
No,
So you'll answer that.
that does not. That statement alone does not disqualify, in my mind. That does not disqualify him.
I think he wants other context or something.
For support. No. I'm just saying that statement alone does not disqualify me supporting him.
Okay, so like if that was your 5-year-old daughter, would it disqualify him? Like if it were you walking your daughter up the escalator and he just randomly turned to your daughter and said he'd be dating her in 15 years, would you still vote for him?
And then like 30 years later, he ran for president. Would you deliberately not vote for him for that?
No.
You wouldn't vote for him?
No, I'm saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying that would disqualify. I'm saying that would not disqualify him. It would
so you would still vote for him? Okay, how about this?
No, I did not say that. I said that wouldn't disqualify him. See, that's the problem with a lot of you young people. I didn't say that, and you turned that into so you did say this, which I didn't.
But you just said that it wouldn't disqualify him. So let's see how far you take this. We're talking about the changing rooms. Donald Trump bragged about walking into the changing rooms of naked women while they're changing without their consent. If this was your daughter in one of those changing rooms when Donald Trump barged in while she's naked without her consent, would you still vote for him, knowing that this happened?
I'm not going to get caught up. I should have left an hour ago. We can.
Yeah, he's leaving. I don't know. That was kind of ridiculous. He wouldn't answer the question for like 45 years. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah, that was a bit brutal. Maybe sometime we'll get him to answer the question in the future. He can come back up and we can finish.
Anytime I have like conversations with him about politics, he always does this where he like brings the conversation for like 45 years and then it just turns into an argument. Like he'll literally ask 500 questions. I don't. It's weird.
Well, I'm sorry you got to deal with that. I appreciate you a lot, and especially getting him to come up on the live stream. That's one of the best things you can do in the circumstance. I appreciate you doing that and you getting involved. Yeah. So W's for you. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
W's for that son. Make sure to show them some love because they're gonna get a bunch of comments that are really bad. Okay, because they're gonna think it's the dad and the grandpa. So make sure to show them some love as well because they're based. They're really based. So that's a thing. Let's make sure to go on to the next individual here quick. I do have plenty of people to catch up with. I'm very far behind. I do have to catch up with donations, but I was just doing that conversation for a bit. Let's get the next person up here, though, real quick. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Helps get it out to more people, as always. If you're on YouTube, let's try to get to 2,000 likes, everyone. For the 4,300 people here on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. Let's get to 1 million likes, everyone. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. For the 8,000 people, tap that screen, everybody. You can do it as many times as you want. Let's get this next person up here and then thank some people as soon as possible. Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Okay. Alrighty, let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. I don't know what they were saying to me. I have no clue. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
You listen to me, boy.
How old are you?
I will roundhouse kick you. I will Spartan kick you.
How old are you?
34.
You're not 34. No shot. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 19.
Sammy, thank you for the candy puffs. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
What's your birth year?
2006.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
My name's Han Harris, and you're a nigger.
You're disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates.
What screen, Parker?
Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everyone.
Oh, Parker!
So the next individual, only send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Yes, sir, Parker.
How old are you?
You're a loser, brother.
And do you support Trump?
That's all I needed to say. You are a fucking
run away.
dweeb.
Run away.
You're a
run
dweeb.
away, buddy.
You're a dweeb.
You're a coward.
You're a dweeb.
Run away. You're scared.
Dweeb. You're a
scared
dweeb.
of debating me.
You're a
scared
dweeb.
of debating me.
Go back in the locker, buddy.
You know that you're
Go
going to get
back in the
intellectually
locker.
dog walked, buddy. You're
Go
so
back
scared.
in the
This is
locker.
just you being a coward right now. Look at you. You're about to
Parker.
run away like the little
Parker.
coward you are. Look at this.
Parker, you
Run,
are
run,
good
run,
at
run, run,
debating.
run. Just run.
Parker.
If you run away, then you won't actually have to intellectually engage.
Mushroom.
Run away, buddy.
Mushroom.
You're gonna run. He's a
Mushroom.
coward. Look at this guy. He's about to run.
Mushroom.
He's about to say he dislikes me, then he's about to run. Watch this shit. Look at him.
You're
If
a
he doesn't, he's a
liberal.
good boy. Watch it.
You're a liberal.
Oh,
Fuck.
debate me. Oh, you got a flag
Parker.
already for harassment and bullying? Wow. He speed run that real quick. Come on, bro. TikTok, let me... If it's harassment and bullying to me, can TikTok let me verify whether or not I want to keep them on the live without affecting my account, please? Because, like, I'm okay with them doing that to me in the circumstance. Because I want to dog walk them. Come on. He called me a liberal. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. No, a liberal. Oh, my God. How could I ever be called a liberal? That's so horrible. No. No. He called me a liberal. Oh, no. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
46.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
If the election was held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Oh, Trump.
Okay, for sure. I have a few people to thank real quick, and then we can move on to our conversation. Dude, just give me a quick second real quick. Monique, thank you so much for the purchase of the $5 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Get some W's for Minoke in the... what the heck? Monique in the comment section right now. Thank you so much for the push the $5. Thank you. Gladys, thank you so much for the $50 on PayPal. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, though, it is crazy, though. Thank you so much, Gladys. I really appreciate the $50. Put some W's for Gladys in the comment section right now, as well as Jalen. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Jalen, thank you so much for appreciate the $69. Thank you so much. Jalen, I really appreciate the $69. Thank you. Catherine as well. Thank you for the $5. Thank you so much for the appreciate. Thank you. I try my best. Thank you very much. Brittany, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you very much. Paula, again, with the $50. I think I said thank you earlier, but I just wanted to say thank you again. W's for Paula. And again, Jalen, thank you so much for the push. Gladys, thank you very much. Joan, thank you for the $25. Thank you so much. I just appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Feisty as always. Thank you. Jose, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you very much. Sammy, thank you so much for the $10 as well. Thank you so much for the appreciate. Thank you. Benjamin, thank you so much for the $25 twice. Thank you so much. If everyone becomes both sides, responsibility disappears. Ethics is not bipartisan negotiation. Politics has sides. Morality does not. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Put some W's for them in the comment section right now. Benjamin as well. Thank you for the $25 for Nobody's Perfect. Man, there's a big gap between not perfect and abusing women and kids. Seriously. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's not just some personality quirk. Exactly. Thank you so much. Get some W's for them in the comment section. Laura, thank you for the $2. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I think I have seen that. It's absolutely horrible. Michael as well. Thank you for the $1. William, thank you so much for the $5. Paige with the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. William said, by the way, that they're LDS and they don't support Trump. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. As well, and I'll have to look into what you're saying. As well as Paige, thank you for the $15. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I realized I'm so sorry to hear that. Paige, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Put some W's for Paige in the comment section right now. I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you so much. As well as Barbara, thank you so much for the $100 on Venmo. I just saw this right now. Thank you so much. Put some W's for Barbara in the comment section right now for the $100. Thank you so much. That is crazy. W's for Barbara in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, W's for them in the comment section right now. As well as Julian, thank you so much for the $3. Thank you. Wig, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Bree, I really appreciate the $10. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Janice, thank you so much for the $2. Blind, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you very much. Melvin, thank you for the $5. Ben, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Lenal, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. Trevor with the $2 and the $5. Pablo, thank you for the $2. Thank you very much. London, thank you for the $2. As well, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. Pazzo, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $2. Thank you very much. Big Mace, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Melvin, thank you for the $2. Jebs, thank you so much for the $5. Cool, thank you so much for the appreciate the $2. Vrillian, thank you so much for the $5. Watts, thank you so much for the $2. Cody with the $10. Matthew with the 10. And thank you so much, Cornell with the 10. Vrillian, thank you so much for the 5. And Silver, thank you for the 10. I think I am fully caught up if I missed your donation. I really do apologize, everyone. I was a bit behind. I'll try to keep up a lot quicker. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. So you can support me over YouTube, Super Chat, as always. Alrighty. Why do you support Donald Trump?
Oh, I believe he was the best, way better option than Harris. I mean, that's just what I believe. And, I respect you for, what you think, but I don't know what your belief is on, like, why Trump is so bad.
I can tell you why. Well, he was held civilly liable unanimously amongst a jury of 9 people, a jury of his peers, forcibly penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will. He bragged about grabbing women by the vagina without asking, which is assault. He has 26 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct.
Hold on. I mean, we could stop there because I'm not going to agree with all that because these courts are completely, biased, and they're doing what they, they're all in different New York. They're, where, what do you think?
Okay. Well, I don't think that they're all biased. I think that literally the lawyers that Trump had were part of the jury selection process. So they got to choose if someone was not going to be a part of that process.
And that's fine. But most of the jury are, people that are, very left. And so that's the way they. I mean, obviously, if you're
there's no good evidence or reason to believe that, and it was an entire decision of 9 people on a jury. It's likely that there were independents, conservatives, apolitical people. Not every single person was liberal, and even if they were at that time, that wouldn't be evidence.
So let me
that
ask you another
did
question.
So
then.
impartial or
Can I ask
impartially.
you a question?
What's that?
So what about like the. So I struggle with this because, yeah, I do support Trump. And then my son, on the other hand, he's about 20 years old, and he is totally anti-Israel because he thinks that Israel owns the United States. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that we get ourselves involved with Israel's wars too much. We're literally in war with Iran right now because of Israel.
But do you think Israel owns the whole world pretty much?
I don't think Israel owns the whole world. I do think that Israel has disproportionate control over our politics, and that's a bad thing. But I don't think that they necessarily control everything. I think that we do, and I think that we were just allowing that because we were propagandized into supporting Israel.
But they own all our banks. They own everything. They're rich, and they're such a small country.
So I think that. So I don't think that Israel owns all of the banks. There's no evidence of that.
Well, they own most of everything. They're the richest people.
I don't think that that's actually true. I think that
look it up. The Rothschilds.
Is your kid right wing?
Well, no. He was. I brought him up to.
Is he left wing?
I was always a Democrat my whole life until I was voted. I voted for Obama the first time, and then I changed because I just seen the world in a different way. I seen politics in a different way. But he was a little bit. Right, he watches a little bit too much stuff, I think, and so, who's that one kid? He's all over social media now. He watches him, and I'm trying to think of his name.
Dean Withers?
No, he actually went to he went to Mar-a-Lago one time, and then
Nick Fuentes.
Yes. That
so he watches Nick. So yeah, he's a Groyper. Yes. Yeah, so he's right wing. Yeah, that explains. He's just anti-Semitic.
Yeah, but
your kid's just an anti-Semite, so that's why.
But everything on social media is anti-Semitic. Everything.
No, not everything is anti-Semitic. Nope, that's not true. That's the state of Israel making you think that everything is anti-Semitism. No, it's not.
I'm watching everything I click on is that.
Are you anti-Semitic?
No, I am not.
Are you on the internet?
But I'm starting to wonder if Israel owns the world.
Then why do you support Trump? Because Israel clearly is getting everything they want with Trump in office.
No, I kind of believe that he is, ran and he's being told what to do.
He's being told what to do. Okay.
Yeah, so, I think there's I don't think a president really has a hand in it. I think that people are telling them what to do. I believe that kind of. Now, or Netanyahu has something to do with it.
Wait, say what you just said again?
I said, or Netanyahu has something to do with it.
No, before that.
Oh, I just said I believe that that the United States, the president, isn't really running the country. It's somebody, people telling them what to do. So.
Okay, so then why do you support Trump? Because Trump is clearly more controlled by Israel. Because literally Israel came to Biden under his administration and literally said that Hezbollah was going to attack the United States, so we should preemptively attack them because that was going to happen. Ended up being bullshit, and literally Biden said no because we're not going to be on you guys' side on offense, but we will on defense. That's what they said.
Okay, so this is what I would say. I do think that probably this is what I thought about. 2 weeks ago, that it was a good thing. I still believe it probably that we went to Iran because we can't have that because, 10 years down the road or 5 years down the road and they start, have weapons and they keep stockpiling weapons. We can't have that. But I also believe that we can't, I don't know how to actually put it, but I think, Trump, I'm not in the same position I was. I don't want to say that I don't support Trump because then you'll just kick me off of here. But I do support him. But
wait! Don't say that because I'm going to kick you off. Right, you
Well,
gotta
that's
like
fine.
do so because you have the views. Like I don't want you up here if the only reason you're up here is because you are saying things to not get kicked off.
I'm not saying it because I don't want to get kicked off. I'm just.
So you just said though. So like you do still support Trump, right? Is there anything Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
So let me ask you a question real quick. Do you believe that Trump is doing this on purpose for oil?
Doing what?
Going to war. He did Venezuela. He did this. I don't think he did. I think he went after people that were terrorizing.
Partially, yes.
America.
I think the other part of it is also he wants to distract away from the Epstein files.
So what's in the Epstein files that you don't believe?
What? You mean what's in the Epstein files that I do believe?
What's in the Epstein files that makes you believe that he's really connected to it?
He was credibly accused by a minor who got a settlement with the Epstein estate.
Where do you have the proof of that?
There are specific documents that have
Why-
been reported
why
on.
wasn't
There's an
he-
NPR investigation that they were
So
scrubbing.
why
this.
wasn't he charged with that then?
So that's a whole separate thing. There are plenty of people that haven't been charged, right, in this system.
Oh, yeah, a
right?
ton.
Yeah.
And if you look at the files, there's a lot of
So if there have been plenty of individuals that have,
there's a lot of
wait, listen.
non-credible stuff.
Explain to me this. Explain to me this. Why isn't Trump and his administration releasing the conclusions of all of these particular interviews if it doesn't incriminate Trump? Why are they preventing the release of them?
I didn't know they weren't releasing them. I thought they released
They
it
weren't.
all.
Nope. All of them have not been released. But the reason why they're doing it in the way they have is to make people like you think they have released them all when they clearly haven't.
So what is your take on Bill Clinton?
What's my take on? Again, you like ask me such things that are irrelevant. I don't like Bill Clinton.
But no, that's a Democrat president that we had that I voted for.
Okay.
I'm asking you. You seen him in front of, he went in front of the committee and he talked. You could see. I mean, I even watched a video of a guy that can tell body language, and I could see it before I ever watched that. That he was totally, like, his body language showed he was lying. He knows.
Well,
exactly
I believe he's lying, but like I guarantee if the same thing were true about Trump, you wouldn't accept that as an argument. Like, do you see the difference in standards between what they apply with Trump versus Clinton?
No, if anybody that's a child, or I don't care. If it was Trump, whatever, I would go against them. I would totally call it out.
If both the Clintons can speak in front of Congress, why doesn't Trump?
I can't say anything about Hillary. It's because he's the president. So
I do think Hillary was telling the truth. I don't think that she had a
I don't even know
relationship with Epstein. I don't think she knew anything about Bill's understanding of Epstein.
But I do believe Bill was on the island and all that. But
I don't think there's any evidence to substantiate that based upon what I've seen.
Then there's no evidence for Trump either. Then
I never said there was evidence that said Trump was on the island.
You just said.
I do think that Trump has done a bunch of horrible things, right? And he was credibly accused by a minor in the Epstein files. I haven't seen Bill Clinton credibly accused by someone who got a settlement with the Epstein estate.
You also seen that the governor of Illinois.
What about him?
He was in the Epstein files too. A lot of these people are.
How so?
Oh, he was in there. You didn't see it?
No. What did he do?
I don't know. You look it up.
You tell me.
You know who it is?
What did he do?
You know his name.
What did he do? Tell me.
What's the governor of Illinois' name?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'll remember Pritzker. There we go.
J.B. Pritzker. Yeah.
Yeah, we go. Sorry, literally just.
Maybe you should look that up.
I know J.B. Pritzker. It takes me a second sometimes. I don't think about him very often.
File's so good, but you don't even know who's in it and who's.
So tell me, what did he do?
What did he do? I don't know. He was in the files.
Okay.
So anybody that's in the files.
Hey,
so
I
you
didn't
say Trump's in the files,
dude. Can you give me a source that he was in the files? Because you don't even know how he was in the files, so I don't even know what you're talking about.
I'm just gonna let you go because you don't.
You're gonna run away because you got dunked on and because you can't provide a source.
Listen, have you read all the Epstein files?
No, I haven't read every single file.
Have you read a lot of it?
No.
Then why are you even bringing it up?
I can't read millions of pages, bro. What the fuck?
No, but you're.
Why am I bringing it up? Because this indicates that Trump did something wrong.
True. You believe everything in those files are true?
Do I believe everything in the files? I believe that there are some things in the files that have been determined specifically to not be true, right? Through the interviews that they've done, they determined that someone wasn't a credible
Not just interviews.
accuser, for example. There are FBI tips where that's true. But what you're not understanding is that why are all the conclusions of those FBI tips listed within the files that have been released, but not the conclusions associated with the multiple interviews with the person that credibly accused Trump that got a settlement with the Epstein estate?
Okay, so how about the girl that died? What was her name? She was, I believe, murdered, but the one that said Trump had nothing to do with it.
Oh, are you saying Virginia Giuffre?
Yes.
So
what about that?
Yeah. What do you mean? What about that? She just said that she wasn't assaulted by Trump. That's like someone claiming that they weren't killed by Jeffrey Dahmer.
Did she die?
Therefore, Jeffrey Dahmer is not a serial killer.
And
like,
how did she die?
That's not the argument. Her argument wasn't Trump never did anything. It's that she didn't see Trump do anything.
How did she die?
Well, the story that's out there is that she killed herself.
Okay, that's a story, so you don't know.
I don't know. No.
Okay.
I mean,
do you think
all
that's
evidence
weird?
all evidence does indicate towards that, but
that's
it is
kind of like a cover up. Do you think that maybe?
I mean, it's something to investigate, to look into, but if we don't have sufficient evidence, then we can't make that claim.
There's a lot of investigation to go around.
What's your point?
No, my point is Jeffrey Epstein was probably killed. He didn't commit suicide, I don't believe.
Okay.
Do you believe that?
I don't know.
I know.
I think he didn't. I don't think he self-unalived.
Yeah, that's the problem here. Why would they do that? Did you think a government's involved?
Dude, I need you to engage in my points. Do I think the government's involved? There has been a cover-up associated with some government officials, yeah, but that doesn't mean every single person that's been in the government.
I understand that, and it's really been struggling me because I really look at it and think that the government is behind a bunch of bullshit that's going on in this country, and it's horrible, and the world for that matter. And so we're powerful, and Israel's powerful, and Israel's such a small country.
So then why do you support the person that Netanyahu said was the greatest ally that Israel's ever had in the Oval Office?
I don't want to get kicked off, so I'm not telling you. I'm starting to wonder, honestly. What I'm trying to tell you is that you support Biden, you support Harris. I understand that.
So if the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Huh?
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Well, obviously I'd vote for Trump, but
okay. So then tell me why.
Why? I'm starting to wonder if it even matters at this point because I think it's ran by the same people. So
okay, so one, I disagree with you because I think that there's different outcomes with different candidates, and then also two, I do think that this whole argument, if you do, then you would say that you wouldn't vote for Trump then. Boudica, thank you so much for the $10. Said Thomas Pritzker's in the Epstein files, not JB.
It is JB. He's in there.
Source now.
Who, me?
Yes. Who the else would I be asking?
Go look. I know he was in there.
So provide the source.
I don't have it here. So
I'll give you time to go look it up. Are you going to look it up?
Well, I'm looking.
Okay. Give him a second, everyone. In the meantime, Joe, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $4. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, Trump was unalived when was president when Epstein was unalived. He is claiming that Trump, when he was president, was covering up what happened with Epstein's unaliving. That would be his position. Yeah. Riley as well. Thank you for the $1. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, definitely not in the files. As well as Buzz. Thank you so much for the $1 as well. Thank you very much. Give some W's for them in the comment section. If you want to support me, as always, again, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. As well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always. If you're on YouTube, again, everyone, hit that thumbs up, everyone. Seriously, help send it out to significantly more people. I would really, really, really appreciate it. I think right now, let me see how many likes we're at right now. Let's take a look real quick. We are currently at, let me scroll down. We are currently at 1.6K. Someone beat me in chat. Yeah, we are at about 1.7K actually.
You hear me?
Yeah. What's up?
So it was Thomas Pritzker. It was his cousin.
Not JB Vance or JB Vance. That's not JB Pritzker.
No, but I did see where he was in there, but I looked it up. I mean, obviously it's not showing that, but you never know if that's true or not. I don't know.
Okay, so then you don't have anything about JB
Listen,
Pritzker. So
I do appreciate you though as a person. You know, I'm not saying that. I mean, I might like Trump and you don't, but another thing is you know, what do you think about that? That happened to what's his name? You know, remember the assassination of what's his name? I'm drawing a blank here. You know who I'm talking about. Remember he got shot in the neck?
Oh, are you trying to say Charlie Kirk?
Yes. So what is your opinion on him getting shot? Do you think that kid did it, or do you think somebody else did it? Because when I look at the videos, it looks like that his bodyguard is pushing that thing on his arm, and he has a little gun. And
I think those are all stupid arguments. I think it was probably Tyler Robinson. I'm not a conspiracy theorist on that.
I'm not either.
And looking back on it in hindsight, this is the most I would say. Looking back on it in hindsight, Israel does gain a lot because Charlie right now would be literally arguing against the Iran war. Okay, I'm not trolling. Based upon what he said in the past, he'd be arguing against the Iran war right now, and that would take away a lot of support that they would need on the right in order to be able to continue this operation. So there is something to gain on behalf of Israel, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they did it, right? So we don't necessarily have evidence, but there is something to gain. You know, thinking in hindsight, you can say that, given that they have gone to war with Iran, right? Taking that into consideration.
Saying that. Because that's where this whole Iran thing in the last 2 weeks is the reason I'm starting to change my perspective on the way the United States and the presidency and the government runs. I think we're ran.
I think you're about to fall too into conspiracy mode. You need evidence.
But you can see that video of that guy on his arm. He pushed it right at that time.
I don't think that's good evidence. I think that makes no sense.
Have you ever seen the video?
Yes.
And you don't think?
And I think that I think you're referencing like random things that they're doing. It does none of that is evidence that like one of the bodyguards was associated with the unaliving.
Well, he was up front, and it was right then with the shot, and he put his arm up, and you could see it in between his fingers. So what
was in between his fingers?
It was one of those. It was like a, what do they call that? It's some kind of a gun. It's a little dill they put in their palm. It's a palm gun. He was that close that it would have worked. You look at the video. That's all I'm asking. All right, if you don't want to
stop, dude. Are you serious? You think that they like have a robotic arm?
You know what a palm? You know what a palm gun is,
dude? Apparently not, dude.
Maybe you can look it up then.
Okay, there was no gun. They had no gun.
I said, look what a palm gun is, and you can see that in his fingers.
No,
and
you
then
can't.
All he has to do is click that dill, and it shoots it. I mean, he pushes it.
No, dude, they did not have a palm gun. You can't see that.
Okay. No, you can see it between his fingers. I mean,
no, you can't. And also, I just want to let you know, I would have heard that.
I don't know why you didn't. It's all over YouTube.
So I have
it's all not YouTube.
So let me just let you know, I was there 30 to 40 feet away when it happened. I have a video of me talking to someone when the shot went off. You can hear how far away the gunshot was in the video. You can watch, like, I have a literal video of me talking to someone when it happened. Based upon my location of where it happened, it is impossible that shot came from one of the bodyguards, okay?
Hold on.
This is a really stupid argument.
I'm not saying the shot didn't happen from
it
Tyler
absolutely
Robinson.
did not come from one of those bodyguards. There's no good evidence to indicate that, okay? Don't make up... like, this is what I mean. You're going too far into the conspiracy with no evidence. You see what I mean?
But you don't have any evidence either.
I do. I literally have me talking to someone on video and audio. You can hear it.
I've heard people sitting right there, and they said it didn't sound like that. They said it was really close. You can't
I was there, too.
In an instant.
Yes, you can. Because I literally heard it and then reacted.
Other people did too, and they have a different perspective than you. I don't know. I'm not.
It definitely does not seem like it was like. So I would have known because of the direction of where it was from. Where I was sitting, it would have been from a different angle. If it was one of his bodyguards, it would have been closer to Charlie that audio came from, not further away from the crowd.
Do you mind looking up that video of his bodyguard? He was sitting right in the front with the
No. I don't think this is even worth my time.
Okay, then. If you don't want to take a look at it, then that's
I don't need to.
Yeah, because you don't have an open mind. You don't want to see it.
I was literally there, dude. What are you talking about?
Right there. I'm watching.
I was literally right there.
Slow motion.
I was literally 30 feet away, dude.
Okay, I'm done.
There's a video, and literally you could hear the audio.
Done.
You would proportionally you would hear it in the video that the gunshot came from that angle. I would have been able to submit that to the FBI, and they would have been able to determine that it specifically was from that side. If I had that video demonstrating that, I would tell you. I don't. I literally have a video of me talking to someone when it happened.
It's fine. I know what I saw, and I don't know, but I just know that it looks real.
What? Okay. But again, use evidence. Don't just believe conspiracy bullshit.
I'm not.
You are.
I have no evidence. I'm not saying I have evidence.
Okay. Well, if you have no evidence, why do you believe it?
There's just like you don't have evidence. I mean, why do you believe?
I literally have a video.
But there was a ton of people there that there was people there that I've listened to that don't believe that. So
who was there that you listened to?
What was his name? He was right there in the front row. He was actually an old congressman.
Okay, well, let me tell you something. I've talked to Hunter Kozak, the guy that was talking to Charlie when he was murdered. And if that happened, Hunter would have told me about how he heard the gunshot from in front of him rather than behind him. Or do you think Hunter was a part of it all?
Do you really believe that you can know a gunshot coming from before you, behind
you?
Yeah.
I think that Hunter would have known that the gunshot came from in front of him rather than from behind him.
How come people,
I think out of any person to know that, it would be him.
Oh, I don't know. Do you believe
he literally was talking to Charlie when it happened?
Shot in the ear? Do you believe Trump was shot in the ear?
I believe that there was a bullet. Yeah.
Do you believe he was shot in the ear?
I mean, I believe that it like touched his ear and it went over it. He didn't really get like hurt. There's no mark or anything.
Okay. So what happened to the guy that was killed?
He definitely died. That's what I'm saying. I said the bullet is real.
Same bullet?
The bullet was real.
Was it from that same bullet?
Yeah.
It was? Because I think there was two shots.
Well, it was one of the. I meant like one of the shots that the person fired. I don't know if it was the exact shot that.
Okay. Because there's a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, he was never shot. They never shot. It's all a conspiracy."
I mean, I don't believe it was. I don't believe it was staged because I do believe someone died.
So do you think Iran was behind that? Because guess what?
No, I don't.
Okay. So do you know that Pakistani?
It was literally a conservative dude.
Hold on. You know that Pakistani guy that was just found guilty of talking to the FBI about assassinating Trump? He was arrested the day before that happened, and it was exactly how they had staged. So, do you think? And isn't that kind of weird? Bro? Oh, you don't even know. See, that's how dismembered you are from the media, or not the media.
You mean
but
just some random conspiracy thing you saw on Facebook? Like, dude, yeah, of course I didn't see some random conspiracy bullshit on Facebook.
You didn't see. So, do you even know the Pakistani guy that just got?
No, I know what you're referencing, but you're trying to invent some conspiracy based upon it.
No, what I'm saying is he was arrested one day before the butler.
Okay, for what?
The same thing that happened.
So you mean what? You think he attempted to assassinate Trump?
No, he came out and said that he thinks that the Iran also had another person on top of him doing it, and they actually played it out.
Can you give me a source for this? That the guy said that he worked with Iran, and the person specifically that was involved in the Butler attack was also involved with Iran.
I didn't say he was. What I said was...
What the fuck is this guy saying, bro? My brain hurts, bro.
Look it up.
You're the one that needs to look it up. You're the one that needs to do the research, bro.
I'm going to let you go. Can you just hang up on me? Because I don't know how to.
Run away, buddy.
No,
you're scared.
I like you. No, I'm not. But I appreciate you, but I'll let you go if you don't mind. Why? I don't know. I just don't want to be on here anymore. I'm being too loud. I'm trying to be quiet.
Alrighty. Amy, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Dakota, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Ren, thank you for the $2. I did see that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kemia as well, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. And Rebecca, thank you for the $1. As well as George, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Diabolical. For the next individual, only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Let's go to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates. What's up, how old are you? Let's go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria on the TikTok screen, everybody. What's up, how old are you?
Hey, I'm from New York. Of course I support the guy. What are we doing here? Hey,
For the next individual, only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Again, if you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, you're disgusting. Let's go on the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. What's up, how old are you?
18.
Do you support Trump?
I do.
What's your birth year?
2008.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Repeat that again?
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay, what's your birth month?
February.
Dakota, thank you for the $5. Thank you very much. Alrighty, why do you support Donald Trump?
Because I mean he just sticks to his word and does what he wants. And I'd rather have someone who has
Wait,
an
what month
idea
did you
of
say
what
you were
they're
born
doing
again?
than someone else who doesn't.
What month did you say you were born again?
February.
Okay. Yeah, you were right. Okay, so go ahead, you were saying?
I just said that I would vote for someone who I know knows what they're doing versus someone that doesn't have any clue what they're doing.
Yeah, so you'd vote for Harris over Trump.
No, absolutely not.
Well, Harris does know what she's doing, and Trump has no clue what he's doing.
How so?
How so? Because Trump literally said not only he was wrong on the Russia-Ukraine situation, and Kamala Harris was right, she told you so, but also Donald Trump's brought us to war with Iran. Donald Trump has literally led to worse off economic conditions by imposing tariffs.
First of all, it's not really a new war. This has been going on for a long time.
This is a new war that Trump started with Iran.
I wouldn't really say it's new, but
it is absolutely new. You know that literally both Trump and Pete Hegseth have acknowledged this, right?
When he was last in office in what 2016 to 2020, he said multiple
2017,
times.
2021.
Okay, same thing, whatever. But you know how many times he said if Iran does what they think they're gonna do, then this is what's gonna happen to them. Like, it's not new. It's been talked about.
Okay, I don't know what you're trying to argue here.
I'm just saying it's not new. Like, this has been going on for years. It's not really.
So
new.
we were at war with Iran under the Biden administration?
It didn't say war. I said that this has been going on.
So you said the war has been what has been going on?
We weren't really.
What has been going on?
They can't have nuclear weapons.
So we had a negotiation with them. We weren't at war with them. So we weren't at war with them. Okay, so we are at war with them now. We weren't at war with them then. If you're saying that we wanted to prevent them from having nuclear weapons, well, we had a negotiation to be able to do that. And do you want to hear about what Trump said about that, specifically before the negotiation actually took place?
Go ahead.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. So the only way he figures that he's going to get reelected, and as sure as you're sitting there, is to start a war with Iran. It's very simple.
So Trump's weak and ineffective because he wanted to start a war with Iran because he couldn't get negotiation?
No, he negotiated. They didn't follow with it.
So, no, he wanted them to get rid of their ballistic missile program with Israel. And literally, they aren't willing to get rid of their ballistic missiles. They were willing to get rid of their enriched uranium.
I mean, I'm just saying, if we let them did what they're trying to do, we would all be dead.
That's just not true, because they would use it as a mechanism specifically to establish like sovereignty over their nation, so that other countries wouldn't like attack them. There's many actually foreign policy experts that say that it might lead to more peace in the region if they did have a nuke. Now, it's not necessarily what I'm saying, but I'm just saying like that's what they said.
Well, I don't know what you mean, because they would use it at us. They wouldn't use it for their own country.
What? No, they would use it to. People use nukes to ensure mutually assured destruction.
Yeah,
wait, did you just say Israel? Did you just say Israel's nuke?
I didn't say Israel.
Okay, sorry, I apologize.
No, I'm just saying if they were to have them, they'd use them on us.
No evidence of that, because there's mutually assured destruction.
And everyone in the comments saying go and listen to war, I gladly have.
Okay, then go do it. Go enlist on the front line.
I would love to.
Really? Go do it.
I would die. I would die for this president, but if it's any other president, I would never.
You're trolling. Get off my live.
You're bad.
He's clearly trolling. Christopher, thank you for the $100 on PayPal. Can we get some W's for Christopher in the comment section right now? Thank you so much, Christopher, for the $100 on PayPal. That is crazy. Thank you so much, Christopher. Seriously, that is so nice of you. Seriously, W's for them in the comment section right now. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. As well as Lexi, thank you so much for the $1. I do see. Let's go on the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We're just looking for some debates. Alrighty, let's get this next person up here. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. We are just looking for some debates, everybody. Alrighty, if you want to support me as always, Venmo, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat as always. That guy's disgusting. Let's go to the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go on the next individual. Only do send a guest request if you meet that criteria listed on the TikTok screen, everybody. If you're on YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
What was that?
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Do you support Trump?
I do support Trump, yes.
If the election were held today, Harris versus Trump, who would you rather vote for?
I would rather vote for Trump.
Okay, why do you support Trump?
So I've been listening to some of your claims already, and I think they're fair claims. I know the stuff about him sexually harassing girls is a big issue, and all of that. And my issue with Harris, which I know you've kind of addressed before too, mainly is really that I don't follow politicians closely, but when the debates come up, my viewpoint is I always want to try and give everyone a fair chance. So since I've been voting the past few years, it's mainly been Republican, but I'm okay with going to the other side if I think someone has better points. The main reason why I voted for Trump is because when I listened to the debates before the election, I just really couldn't grasp onto anything Harris was saying about a plan or policy. To me, it just sounded like a bunch of emotional rhetoric. And so, with Trump, I always feel like he's very clear about what he wants to do. And with Harris, I couldn't really grasp onto anything, and that's why I didn't vote for her.
Okay, so did you watch these debates?
I think
or what debates were you watching?
The presidential debate, I think it was one of the main ones.
The first question she was asked, she answered her policy. Do you want me to play it?
Sure.
Okay, debates, here we are.
Including right here in Pennsylvania.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
So let's get started. I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their #1 issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people. And that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children. My passion, one of them, is small businesses. My mother raised my sister and me, but there was a woman who helped raise us. We call her our second mother. She was a small business owner. I love our small businesses. My plan is to give a $50,000 tax deduction to start up small businesses, knowing they are part of the backbone of America's economy. My opponent, on the other hand, his plan is to do what he has done before, which is to provide a tax cut for billionaires and big corporations, which will result in $5 trillion to America's deficit. My opponent has a plan that I call the Trump's sales tax, which would be a 20% tax on everyday goods that you rely on to get through the month. Economists have said that Trump sales tax would actually result for middle-class families in about $4,000 more a year because of his policies and his ideas about what should be the backs of middle-class people paying for tax cuts for billionaires.
So she mentioned the particular policy she had in the very first question that she was asked.
Yeah, that's fair. But, I mean, she's talking about tax cuts, right? Hasn't Trump made tax cuts? And it's been beneficial to a lot of American citizens. So...
Yeah, so then, like, she was advocating for tax cuts for working class people, people in need, and not for the rich and wealthy disproportionately.
Right. So what about, like, no tax on tips and all that Trump's been doing that's been giving people a lot larger income tax returns?
She agrees with the deduction, and it was a deduction, not a no tax on tips or no tax on overtime. It's a deduction that you get. And again, that's bipartisanly supported. And Harris wanted to keep all the tax cuts applicable to income individuals under $400,000 a year.
Okay. So you think Harris would have had more tax reductions than what Trump has been doing?
Yes, for the average person.
Interesting. So, I mean, yeah, that is a fair point. I think I did watch that debate as well, and maybe I missed that part, but it's just when I was watching it, to me, it sounded like a lot of good words and not a lot of specific plans. And so maybe I didn't give her enough of a chance with that, or maybe I just wasn't educated enough about her. But the main reason I vote for Trump, it's not so much specific policies, but with him, I felt like he was just a lot more straightforward about what he wanted to do. I feel like he's always been like that. It's just like his plan with the wall, or like, I don't know.
That he was going to make Mexico pay for it?
Yeah, which I agree. That was funny.
That clearly didn't happen, so he didn't get it done either.
No, he didn't. No, but he has been working a lot on the legal immigration issue, which I agree with.
So he's working on the issue of undocumented immigration without his main policy of the border wall.
Yeah, but he's still building the wall, though, right?
So to clarify, he thinks that we can have a secure border without a border wall?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, so we don't have a secure border.
But isn't he continuing to build it?
But it's not fully built. So are you saying that we can have a secure border without a border wall? So the border wall is unnecessary?
Not entirely. No, I would not say that at all. I think it is necessary.
Okay, so then
it takes time.
If it's necessary, then we do not currently have a secure border.
No, but it's becoming more secure than it was at, say, the beginning of his term.
Wait, so you admit right now that the border is not secure?
I would say it's not secure as it could possibly get. But, I mean, if we don't have a full wall, then sure, yeah, I would definitely say...
Should we do a northern wall as well?
No, because we don't have an issue with Canada coming in.
Yeah, we do. There are people that come from Canada.
You think there's as many
and what prevents people from flying to Canada and then just walking across the northern border?
I mean, that could happen, and if that was happening, I think it would definitely be important to address that issue, but I don't think that's happening right now.
Okay.
So I mean, and I'll admit, I'm not like proficient on politics. I follow Trump a lot, but that's because he's very vocal. Like with Biden, I didn't know a lot of what he was doing just because when you compare the two, Trump is like 1,000 times more vocal, and
really
maybe that's not a good thing.
Can you give me examples?
I mean, with his Twitter activity and all the advertising he does, like I don't
like how he called for the some Democrats on Truth Social.
Yeah, I'm not saying all of it is good, but what I'm saying is I don't need to look very hard to find something about Trump. Whereas with Biden, if I wasn't looking for it, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, and I also don't need to look very hard to find him saying something insane.
Yeah, that's true. He says things that are weird, but
he says things that are weird. That he literally is like actively calling for the of his political opponents.
So you're talking about when I don't remember the person, but it was something to do with treason or something? Are you talking about
they said to not follow the law and to follow they said to not follow I can't speak. They said to follow the law and to not follow unlawful orders. And Donald Trump called for their because they said if you get an unlawful order, do not follow it.
Right. I'm glad you brought that up actually, because I did post something about this on my social media when it happened. And this is something that I actually have an opinion on because I'm currently serving in the military right now. So I've been serving for about 11 years. And so this is something that's actually very important to me. I get what people are saying that, yeah, they said don't follow unlawful orders. Sure, that's in itself is not something that is wrong, okay? But from the way they presented it, from what I can see, I have to agree with Trump and his administration that they were trying or attempting to cause like disorder, like I wouldn't go as far as saying chaos, but they're trying to stir up trouble and cause disorder in the ranks, making people panic.
That's not causing disorder. That's literally just saying if you get an unlawful order, do not follow it.
Yeah, but
that is totally within your rights to do. That is not illegal.
Sure.
What crime did they commit?
The problem is that we already know that as military. There's no confusion about that at all. Everyone, like we have to say an oath to get into the military, and the oath is to follow legal orders. Like if there's an unlawful
I know,
order,
but like they said an unlawful order. So like in the case in which it's unlawful, should you follow it?
No, of course not. But I don't need them to
if you're
tell me
not
that.
supposed to follow it, if you get an unlawful order, then wouldn't that mean that given that they said if you get an unlawful order, do not follow it, they are totally within their rights of saying that. They did not violate the law in any meaningful way. So then under your view, you think that they should be not put in prison and they should not be even held accountable, and Trump calling for their execution is unjustified.
I would say calling for their execution may be a little extreme, but I do think that what they did was wrong because, like I said, they're causing disorder, especially for that guy who's a high-ranking veteran. He knows how the military works, and he knows that we already have that understanding to not follow unlawful orders. And yet
yeah, but they're just re-invoking that that's something that you can do.
Sure, but they don't need to do that. Their message was presented in a way.
You say they all know to do this, but like actively, like that might not be the case that in all circumstances that someone knows this, right? And if they are spreading information about this, this is totally okay to do. Even if everyone knows this, they still can do it. It's within their right.
Yeah. So my point that I'm really trying to make is that their intent with it. I think their intent was not to do what you're saying. I think their intent was to stir up trouble, mainly politically, against Trump and saying, hey, you need to be on guard, like be alert because things are going to go wrong. That's what I feel like they were doing, and that's causing disorder.
Again, and nothing they said was something that can get them killed for, something that can get them put in prison for, or something that can get them charged. Nothing about what they said was illegal. So I don't know what this stirring up trouble cause of the death penalty now? Can someone call for your because you just wanted to quote unquote stir up trouble?
No, that's absurd. Think that you should be called. I don't think they should be. No, I agree with that. But I do think they should be charged, especially the people who are veterans that know how the military works. I think that they're causing dissent intentionally, whether they want to present it that way or not. And I think, yeah, they need to be held accountable. But to be no, I don't agree with that. But I do think they need to be held accountable.
Okay. If you agree that they need to be held accountable, right, what would they be held accountable for?
For causing disorder and interfering.
So what should they be charged with?
I couldn't tell you I can't tell you off the top of my head which article of the UCMJ it is. But
there is no crime that they committed. This is all bullshit. Reminding people of their oath is not illegal.
It's just the way they presented it. It just doesn't seem like honest and sincere the way you're saying it to me. As someone who served in the military, like, I don't need someone to tell me what my duty is in the military. And I'm sure if someone said that to them, they would feel the same way.
Okay.
But they're trying to use their high rank and everything to cause this.
Yeah, and they still are going to read you your Miranda rights if you get arrested, right? Regardless if you know it.
Yeah.
Would they still read the Miranda rights to a lawyer?
I would assume so.
Okay. So even if someone does know something, it still makes sense to say it.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. So then what's wrong with them saying it?
The way they said it to me, it's something that was disrespectful and
disrespectful. So again, the president can call for your because apparently you said something disrespectful when this isn't disrespectful. This is literally within your rights. This is not disrespectful. What the hell are you talking about?
Okay. I already said I don't agree that President Trump, with what he said about him wanting to execute them. I don't think that's right.
Okay,
I mean,
so then,
I can see where
so then why don't you stop supporting Trump because he did that? That's like a huge issue, right?
Okay, so I'll get to my main reason of why I support Trump. And I know I've heard you debate this a little bit before, but my main reason why I support Trump is because of my faith as a Christian. So, and this is the main thing I believe, right? If Kamala was president, if Trump was president, if Biden's president, I will support any of them, okay? And I've been in the military 11 years, so I've been here when Trump was first elected. I've been here when Biden was elected, and I don't like to talk bad about any president if it's unjustified, which I know there's a lot of things we can talk bad about Trump and they would probably be justified. But my point in saying that is that I respect the position as president more than I respect the person. And so my main thing with Trump, I understand he said a lot of things he shouldn't have said. But at the end of the day, he's the president, and I feel like I just need to respect him as the president until his term is over. But also, one of the things that I've been seeing from him, which makes me want to support him more and actually makes me like really appreciative of him, is the fact that he's been bringing up God a lot, him and his cabinet. I mean, this is something to me that I feel like we have not seen in our country for a long time, with people openly talking about God on national television, saying that we need to pray, saying that...
You think this is the first time in U.S. history that people are talking about God on national television in the U.S.? Really?
No, but I think for a long time, I mean, in my lifetime, I can't recall a president talking about this frequently on national television as a 28-year-old.
Well, growing up in this country, I've heard it all the time. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I mean, from a president that I've seen actively in office.
Your president is not going to go up there and just give you Bible verses. That's horrible. I would not want that.
Well, that's one thing I really like about him. And I understand the...
Do you like James Tallarico?
I don't know who that is.
Well, he's you should look him up. He's running to be governor in Texas.
Oh, okay. I know who that is now that you said that.
Or not governor, Jesus Christ.
Huh?
That I apologize, not governor, senator. I don't know why I said governor. I'm sorry. I was thinking California for a second because like I'm thinking about the governor's race in California.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about yet, and I don't like him. No.
Why not?
Because I think he changes things about scripture in order to fit his belief.
What did he do? What did he change about scripture to fit his belief?
So he supports homosexuality, right? And he supports transgenderism and all that. So I'm not against people choosing their way of life. If they live that way, I can't control it. It's not my place to judge.
Name one verse in the Bible that condemns gay marriage.
Well, we can look at when Jesus talked about, I know you talked about this earlier this week because I was watching it when some guy was trying to talk to you about divorce. And if you look in that passage, Jesus says that as it was designed from creation, marriage should be between one man and one woman.
No, it doesn't say only between a man and a woman. It just describes that marriage was between a man and a woman in that context. Nowhere does it say it should only be between a man and a woman. Secondly, there's no point where Jesus specifically says that marriage, right, should only be between a man and a woman. No point where he says that it's wrong to get married if you're gay. No point does he even mention it's wrong to be gay at all. Jesus did not speak a lot about that. You know what Jesus did speak about?
What?
Healing the sick, feeding the poor, providing for those in need, being there for those that are not given that sort of community. That's what Jesus talked about. Love, compassion, those things is a lot of what Jesus talked about. And that's not what is being upheld by the modern day Republican Party, by the GOP, the guardians of P3DOs.
I'm sure that's true. Probably. I agree with that for the most part. Yeah. I don't think that everything Republican parties in and of itself do is loving to the other side. I don't agree with that actions either. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I'm going to be kind to you anyway. And my intention is to always be respectful of everyone's views, even if I think it's sinful and wrong. I don't think that Jesus had to say that they only had to be with the man and woman because it was understood. And the point he was making is that it was designed from the beginning to be a man and woman. So he was pointing back to Genesis as an example of how it should be. He didn't have to clarify that it should only be like that because an example was made, and that was between Adam and Eve. And so that's why I believe that, yes, homosexuality is wrong. I don't think it's right to say...
Nowhere does Jesus say that in the Bible.
Say what? The marriage should be between a man and a woman.
No, nowhere does he say it's wrong to be gay. Nowhere does he say it's wrong to engage in gay intercourse. Nowhere does he say it's wrong to get for 2 men or 2 women to get married. Nowhere.
Do you understand what I'm saying, though, that he was pointing back to the beginning as an example of marriage being between 1 man and 1 woman?
So descriptively saying it's between a man and a woman in a certain scenario is not evidence to say that he's saying it's only in that context. For example, if he's describing that marriage is between 2 people that are a certain way, does that mean that those are the only type of people in terms of personality, in terms of characteristics that are going to be able to get married? No one's saying that just because Adam and Eve were a certain way, or just because they were designated or referring to a certain way of marriage there, that means that all of the people who get married in the future need to have all the qualities of the people who got married in that context. That makes no sense.
No, of course not. But what we can see from Jesus bringing that up, and simply from just going back and looking at it ourselves, is that God did create a man and a woman. He could have created 2 men, or he could have created 2 women, but he created Adam, who was a man. And when Adam needed...
So how did Adam and Eve's children have kids?
They had kids with their siblings.
Oh, so incest. So God wanted incest? God could have spawned in a bunch more humans so that there wasn't incest, but God preferably wanted incest under his own view?
So the way I've heard this explained before is that, you know, that DNA can be lost but not added. They were the first humans, so from the way I see it, they could have had children with each other without the defects that we see now, because they were the first creation. They had more DNA, and as time went on,
so I have a question. So if 2 cousins or 2 siblings are infertile, is it okay for them to...
I would not say that today anymore, no.
But like they don't produce any kids with defects.
Sure, but we understand now that it's different because there's a lot more people than just 2 or 4 people on the
Yeah,
earth.
but like this isn't for the reproduction. Like under that context, would you think it's okay?
No, I wouldn't say that anymore, because I think there's too many other possibilities that we don't need to do that anymore. Back then, yeah,
we don't need to do that anymore. Okay, so wait. So but God didn't need to create just 2 humans. God could have created way more than 2 humans, and there would have been no incest. Okay? But God chose particularly to make 2 humans, knowing they would inevitably create children that would have to engage in incest in order to continue on. So it seems like God wanted incest. And hell, he didn't just do it once. He brought it back with the global flood, under your view. He said, we want more incest. Bring it back, everybody. Bring it back. Noah's family this time, actually. Noah, we're going to do it with you, buddy.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I think it goes back to just like the DNA aspect, that they had more DNA and it wasn't a problem back then, and now it is.
Wayne, thank you so much, The Galaxy. This is why these aren't literal stories. You can be Christian and not believe that these are literal stories, right? You know that, like, you can still believe in evolution and science, and you don't have to believe in the global flood and Adam and Eve. You can not believe in all of that and still be Christian. You can just believe that those are like allegories, right? Those are just like moral stories, moral teachings. And hell, if I were Christian, that's the only way that I would see it to be reasonable to interpret those scriptures.
I don't think you can, because if you believe in the word, one of our like foundations of our belief is that the entire Bible is correct. If there's any one thing that's incorrect in the Bible, then it would shatter the whole faith.
Okay, so in different aspects of the gospel, there's different accounts of whether or not there is going to be divorce allowed or divorce not allowed. Do you want me to give you the specific examples, because they contradict?
Sure, we can look at that.
Yeah, Mark 10:7-10 and Matthew 5:31. They explicitly contradict each other. One says that there is no circumstance that justifies divorce. The other circumstance says if there is immorality or cheating, that there's justification for divorce.
Yeah.
No, that's an explicit contradiction. So you could understand that those are 2 different stories coming from 2 different people, and the stories are from people, and then it's not 100% divinely inspired by God, because otherwise they would have the exact same information and there wouldn't be any differences.
So I remember you talking about this, I think it was last Monday, and my view on it is that them being 2 separate people does not make it not the Bible, because what we have here is the Holy Spirit working in individuals to produce the Bible that is written by those individuals, but still maintaining of the truth of God's word.
No, but it's not. The point that I would make as a Christian is that you are certain about things that Jesus has said, but you are not certain about things that are said by human beings because their interpretations of God are not perfect.
Yes, but the exception is those people who wrote the accepted Bible today, because from the understanding of the Christian view, they were inspired by the Holy Spirit to write God's word as we know it in order for our instruction and edification and correction.
Wait, repeat that? I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying you would be correct. However, there's the exception of the people that wrote the Bible we have today, because from the Christian perspective, these specific people were inspired by the Holy Spirit to write what they wrote.
Yeah, but every person is inspired by the Holy Spirit. So that's no distinct from any other person. Wait, so I'm not inspired. So you're not inspired by the Holy Spirit?
Not to the degree that they were to write the Bible.
But how do you know what degree in which they were inspired by the Holy Spirit?
Because the Bible tells us.
Okay, where in the Bible does it say that uniquely they have the ability to interpret this over you? I mean, couldn't you only say that about like the church if you're Catholic? I don't understand how you could say that about any unique person if you are non-denominational or Protestant.
So for this, I would go to 2 Timothy 3:16, which says all scripture is
2 Timothy is not so great. I can give you plenty of other verses you don't accept from there, but 2 Timothy what?
2 Timothy 3:16. So that's what I would use for this question.
Alrighty, let me find it. Give me one quick second.
And from my perspective,
all scripture is inspired by God
Right.
and is useful for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you could say it's inspired by God, but that doesn't mean that they 100% got the inspiration correct, right? Like I can say that my work is inspired by someone that I watched in terms of their political content, but that doesn't mean that what I do in terms of my work will 100% reflect them.
No, but this is like an extraordinary inspiration that was given to them by the Holy Spirit to write the Word of God. It's not the same as the way you're describing it with someone you're watching. This is greater than that because it's the work of God.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do we know what Timothy means by scripture there? Right?
Sorry.
Because how do we know what Timothy means by scripture there? And this is also a question that kind of reaches back into the canonization of the books of the current Bible and the ecumenical councils held between 400 and 500 AD. How do we know that maybe some of the books in the Bible are not truly inspired, yet some of the Apocrypha left out of the Bible was truly inspired? How do we make that distinction? Would you argue that the ecumenical councils had some normative power and were made infallible?
Dude, let's see if you can respond to this one.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know a lot of what you're talking about, but
Yeah.
the reason why I put in my trust to the books we have today, the 66 books I believe in, is mainly because of the fact that they've been around all of this time. And it's just, I've never seen something in the Bible that contradicts, that you can't explain. I think a lot of it comes from misunderstanding the context or not understanding what the word is trying to say. And I don't think that these 66 books disagree. I believe that they are true if they're tested. And the fact that they've just existed all this time, despite the many people who have tried to destroy
Wait, but why do you only accept 66 instead of, what, 72? I think that's what it is.
So I haven't read the other books, 8 or 6 other books that are included with the Catholic faith. So I'm not going to say that they're not useful or good, but I don't think they're divinely inspired in the same way the 66 books are. And that's because mainly we have the Bible. We know the Bible to be 66 books, and I just trust that as the Bible, because that's
Well, like, exactly, but I feel like it's just like trust, man. Like, how do
There
we
is a
know that
level of
the
faith, for sure.
how do we know like the ecumenical councils got it right? Like at the end of the day, we don't, right? And that's honestly right. Like one of the biggest issues in my eyes, as it relates to finding faith in Christianity, is, well, ultimately, even if Jesus existed, was real, and was God, well, how do we know that the writings and prescriptions about his moral code, his teachings, and his word are accurate in the slightest? And how do we know that the Apocrypha is not accurate? You know, and it all just boils down to, well, what a random group of dudes said in 400 AD, and they just chose and selected whatever books they wanted to be put into the Bible and which ones they didn't. And you just have to say, I trust with no evidence nor reason whatsoever that they got it right. And I feel like that's a big hill to climb. By the way, I don't really know the topic of debate. I just like having conversations about this specific.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my faith comes from the Bible, comes from the fact that, like, I read it and it turns out to be true. Like, I can trust in it, and I've experienced having moments where I can trust in the Word, and I read it, and it's just, it seems true to me. If there was something that could be proven that say this thing in the Bible is not true, and there was enough evidence, sure, I would believe that, but I've never seen anything that could disprove the Bible. I've never seen enough evidence, and I think there is some evidence to support the Bible too. I mean, we have over 23,000 manuscript pieces.
Wait, those are just copies of the original things that were written down like multiple generations after Jesus died. But the point that we would make is that I mean, I guess that's a totally separate debate comparative to like what we were just originally talking about. The original point that you were making was that like, oh, God created man and woman originally, therefore that means that he created he created man and woman only to be with each other. That was your argument. You were saying that.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he was saying it was wrong for gay people to get married because the fact that Adam and Eve being created in that way means that it was specifically for that purpose. So then the point I criticized him with was that like, how did Adam and Eve's children have kids? So would he have to say that incest was a part of that because God could have spawned in more than two humans?
Oh, there's an even more direct response to this argument. Did God create Adam and Eve to be fertile?
Say that again?
Did God create Adam and Eve to be fertile?
I believe so.
So therefore,
It
it's
doesn't
immoral
talk
to be
about that.
infertile in the same way that it's immoral to be gay.
Say that again?
So therefore, it's immoral to be infertile in the same way that it's immoral to be gay.
No, it's not
Wait, why?
immoral.
Because your argument was, well, God created Adam and Eve to be attracted to the opposite sex. Therefore, any differing attractions from the way in which God created Adam and Eve is morally wrong. Well, God also created Adam and Eve to be fertile. Therefore, any differing levels of fertility outside of the level of fertility possessed by Adam and Eve would also be morally wrong, such as infertility. So therefore, if you are going to attempt to argue, right, that homosexuality is wrong, you also have to argue that infertility is wrong. And if you'd argue that one is wrong and the other isn't, then you're contradicting the logic in which you gave to Parker.
No, I don't think so, because the Bible, I mean, when we look at marriage, it's talked about more than that. There is a command, of course, in Genesis to be fruitful and multiply. But Paul also says in the New Testament that it's better if you don't marry. And the reason is because we can give more of our life and focus to God and serving Jesus. And so, no, I don't think it's wrong. I think that's addressed in the New Testament. And I think the topic of marriage is addressed in the New Testament as well. There's,
okay.
I would say
you
have to
you just seem to be telling me
the context, but
no, you just seem to be telling me here that traits that Adam and Eve did not possess because God created them otherwise are not necessarily morally wrong. Therefore, it wouldn't follow that because Adam and Eve weren't gay, that therefore being gay is morally wrong.
It wasn't about whether they were gay or not. It was about how God created marriage to be between a man and a woman. He could have created it differently, but he didn't. And so that was his design for them.
Okay, perfect. So now it seems like you're completely shifting the argument away from Adam and Eve and making it about marriage.
Well, that's what my original argument was in regards to homosexuality.
So if there's a gay man that doesn't get married, is that morally wrong?
It is if he engages in those acts, because then he's committing fornication.
Oh, wait, so it's not actually the attractions that are wrong, it's the action of homosexual intercourse that's wrong? So you actually don't think it's wrong to be gay?
So to that, I would go back to when Jesus said, if you look at a woman lustfully, you're committing adultery. You're still committing sin in your heart. So in that aspect, yes, it's still wrong.
Wait,
but
so
the same could be said about someone who isn't gay. If they're committing those acts, they're also committing fornication. It's not just isolated to if you're gay or not.
So then it's wrong to be gay in the same way that it's wrong to be straight. By the way, Parker, your mic is muted.
Yeah, it is.
I just realized, Stephen, are you married?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you find any other woman attractive?
Objectively, sure.
Okay. So are you cheating on your wife?
No.
Well,
didn't you just say that like finding other people attractive, like just having that attraction was having lust? Wasn't that your argument?
No, it's not the same thing. Committing lust in your heart is different than finding someone attractive. The act of lust.
Oh, okay. So then it's not wrong to be gay because just having the attraction in of itself is not lusting.
No, not necessarily. But
okay, so it's not wrong to be gay. So have you conceded that point?
Lust and be finding someone.
Yeah, no, because he was the one muddying the water about lust, not me, because he was saying lust was viewed in a way in which it was just attraction, because he was trying to argue that being gay in of itself is wrong because of the fact that it would mean that you are lusting towards members of the same sex.
Yeah, so what I would say to that is we all have our vices. The same way someone who's gay would be attracted to the same sex, someone who's heterosexual could be attracted to the other sex. It's not sinful to have that urge. What's sinful is the thoughts that follow those urges, such as the lust, where you're thinking about someone in a sexual way when you're not married to them.
Okay, so if a gay person doesn't do that, then you're saying that they didn't do anything wrong.
Sure, if there's someone who's gay and they never look at the same sex and think of them in a same way in their mind, then that would not be sinning. But
wait, is being gay and single any worse than being straight and single?
Only if you act on it or think about those things.
Wait, what? Wait, why?
So, I mean, they're both
because it's sex outside of marriage, but we'd say the same thing for the guy that's straight and because you're rushing outside of marriage, because we'd say the same thing for the guy that's straight and single. So apparently being gay and single is just as wrong as being straight and single, right?
Yes, if you're acting on those or thinking immorally about someone else, yes.
Yeah, but that's not going to relevantly change at all, regardless if you're straight or gay. Given that you're single, it's not wrong, right? Or sorry, it's there's no difference in the level of wrongness, right?
Yeah, if you're engaging in that, it's both wrong. I don't hold the belief that homosexuality is worse than every other sin. There are sins, I think there's a level that God talks about specifically in some cases where sins are greater than others. But my main focus always is that sin separates us from God, and that's the most important aspect. And so when you consider the aspect that sin separates us from God, it's all equal.
How do you view it any different than fornication in general?
I mean, fornication, I think, could be considered as a gay person thinking immorally about the same sex, and it can also be considered as...
No, fornication is about having sex outside of marriage. That's fornication.
Yeah, you're right. But... think when I was saying that, I'm talking about how Jesus said that if you think about someone immorally in your heart, you've committed adultery. That's what I'm saying. But yes, you're right. It's committing sin outside of marriage. I don't think fornication heterosexually is any better than doing it homosexually. They're both wrong. I wouldn't condone either.
So, but then you had nothing in the Bible that indicated that gay marriage is immoral, right?
Wait,
well, again,
how does this relate to your support of Trump?
I think he was trying to prove the Bible wrong with the contradiction of divorce from Matthew and Mark.
No, that you're misunderstanding. That was a whole separate conversation. Yeah, how were you wrapping in your support of like Christianity to be relevant to your support for Trump?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
I was saying that one of the reasons I like Trump specifically a lot is because of him and his administration's endorsing God, speaking about God.
He's like, I've never heard an administration speak about God this much.
Oh yeah, this is like a really shitty argument, dude. They're literally the most anti-Christian regime in modern American history, dude. It doesn't matter if you say that you're a Christian, okay? Jesus talks about wolves in sheep's clothing all the time. What matters is if you hold to the faith in your heart and you undergo the process of sanctification throughout your life. And clearly those two things are not true of Trump, nor the policy of his administration. Leviticus 19:33 and 34 expressly says to treat foreigners that reside among you in your land equally and fairly to the way that you treat citizens. Donald Trump does not think they deserve to be treated equally or fairly. He refers to them as the poison, the blood of our country, and he deports them in violation of their constitutional and natural rights to be tortured in another country. Matthew says, for that in which you give to those with a lesser than you is what you're giving to the Lord thy God. Donald Trump says, well, if you have lesser than me, if you're poor, we're going to take your health care away, your food stamps away, your purchasing power away, and then we're going to double whammy and funk you over even harder, okay, by imposing this regressive tariff tax that's going to hurt you the most. Okay. God says thou shalt not kill. Donald Trump says let's go kill 174 girls in an elementary school across the globe. God says thou shalt not lie. Donald Trump says I'm going to tell the largest lie that any president has ever told with a denial of the outcome of the 2020 election. God says thou shalt not cheat. Donald Trump says I'm going to cheat on all three of my wives, and including my most recent one with a porn star, that I'm going to give her money to be quiet about it. God says that you should love thy neighbor. Donald Trump says, well, if you're my neighbor and a woman, I might rape you, i.e. Eugene Carroll. If you're my neighbor and you're a girl, I might sexually exploit you, i.e. the teens that competed in Miss Teen USA. If you're my neighbor and you're a black person, I might depict you as an ape, a very racist thing to do on Truth Social like he did to the Obamas. If you're my neighbor and you're brown, I'm going to deport you and authorize ICE to detain you on the basis of the color of your skin. If you're my neighbor and you're poor, I'm going to do all the things that I described moments ago, taking healthcare and food stamps away. If you're my neighbor and you're Muslim, well, I'm actually not going to let you be my neighbor at all, because now, because remember, he tried to impose a travel ban of any and all Muslims coming into this country. And, you know, I could just go on all day, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one that's perfect, and Trump does things that aren't good all the time, but I still appreciate the fact that him and members of his cabinet are encouraging worship and
no, man, Loki, you shouldn't appreciate that, because it's a false depiction of the true Christian faith, man. You should not appreciate somebody preaching the name of God in the defense of atrocities. That is the last thing that you should appreciate. It. You should condemn it just as hard as Jesus did with flipping the tables in the temple.
Well, I would condemn some of the things he's done, but at the same time, there's a verse, I don't know the citation off the top of my head, but Paul says, if someone is praising God or giving glory to God, what does it matter if their intention is wrong or right? What matters is the fact that God's name is being brought up and being
No, that's not what matters at all. Do you think that one should speak God's name in the defense of evil? Exactly, and that's exactly what the Trump administration is doing. They speak God's name in defense of the evil in which I just described to you. Anybody, especially Christians, should be able to understand this. I feel like Christians should be more pissed off than non-Christians, because you are the one that truly believes that there's a God in which exists and presides over the world we live in, that is having their name used by Trump, okay, in defense of evil atrocities, just to sway more people into supporting their admin, because they've been convinced that it's a godly thing to do. You know, we saw the same thing, but to a little bit of a higher degree, a little bit more of an extreme during slavery, where we saw a condensement of the Bible to the slave Bible, highlighting sections like Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46, that white Americans then used in an attempt to get the black enslaved individuals to think that they're supposed to be slaves, that's what God wanted for them. Right? Like, we could all agree that was, like, insane and totally wrong, and I'd actually expect you as a Christian to even be more pissed off than I am, because it's not just a grave immorality, but it's a grave immorality being done in the name of the all-high mighty God, right? And so when you're just telling me that you don't really care how or why Donald Trump says the name of God or the fact that he uses it to defend evil, I'm actually just kind of led to believe that you're a performative Christian yourself. And this is just the easy way out for you to justify your support for the insane, because it's in the name of God, as so many generations of immoral people have done before you. And I mean, if that's not true and something else is true, feel free to tell us all. But I think that would first start with you condemning people using God's name in the justification of the perpetuation of clear evil.
I don't think I've ever seen him use God to defend something that he's done immorally. I mean, I think he's used it separately as like just the fact that he is encouraging Americans to be more religious and to give glory to God. I've never connected that with him using that as a justification to...
Every time he uses God's name, it's for the justification of the actions of his administration. Because in using God's name, he's appealing to the Christians in America to support him and his admin, just like you, okay, which then allows him more grace to do the bad things he does. The more social support that he has for his administration, the less resistance he will face in furthering his ill-willed, evil agenda. And the fact that you don't care that his agenda is ill-willed and evil, and even in consideration of the virtues and values espoused by the Christian Bible, merely because he tells people to worship God, is really crazy. Like, once again, a wolf in sheep's clothing, and it's definitely just so regressive to this country, and it's regressive towards the further flourishment of your religion. Because I'm just going to be honest with you, dude, people don't want to be Christian when Christianity is being represented as a weapon of hate and division and persecution and oppression, compared to being properly represented as a symbol of peace, hope, and love and everlasting eternal life. And that is exactly why we now see so many people turning away from the church, resenting the priests in which they grew up with, turning away from Christianity and not wanting to or even entertain it in the first place, because we have a president who's a racist, who pardoned violent offenders that try to kill cops, domestic terrorists, who wants to invade our allies, just killed 174 girls, saying that he's the most Christian president we've ever had and that this is finally a godly country again under him. That represents God in such a negative light that really, realistically, really closes the door for a lot of people to even entertain the notion of following or practicing the faith in the first place. And by the way, you have an obligation as a Christian to do your very best to spread the word of God to as many people as possible all throughout your life. But now you're telling me that you're actively going to support an administration that is going to suppress anybody's ability to do exactly that and convince more people to be Bible-believing, faith-having Christians? That's nonsensical.
I don't think he's suppressing the belief of God. I mean, I get what you're saying, that people view it negatively because he's professing God and doing things which they consider evil. I understand that point, and there might be some truth to that. But at the same time, me personally, I'm going to support whatever president it is, like I said earlier, because I care more about the rank than the person. But I mean, we just had the Black History Month, and there was African Americans coming and speaking about Trump, and they were speaking positively of him, saying that he's not racist.
Yeah, women spoke positively too about anti-suffragette movements and called them not sexist either. Don't tokenize a minority of Black people that share your same interests in order to justify the interest as not being racist, because that's not how it works.
So why would they say that if it wasn't true then?
You're now asking me why some people will sometimes say things that aren't true. How lost are you?
Okay. I mean, to me, I don't see that he's racist in that, like, to the extremity that you're presenting it as. And like, with illegal immigration, I mean, I support that largely just because of how messed up our immigration system is. I think we need to get the illegal people out. I think we need to fix the immigration process so we can actually not have to be so strict with it. But for me, I'm pretty sure, like, I believe that starts with getting the illegal people out and relooking at the system and making a system where we can get legal people in without trying to think about all the illegals every moment. So I support the illegal immigration with that. I don't think that makes them racist. I think it's important. And I know an immigrant personally who came here legally, and the process is ridiculous.
I could give you one of his immigration policies that is by definition racist.
Okay.
He's authorizing ICE agents to detain people because of their race.
And where did you get that from?
I got that from the Supreme Court making a ruling on Trump's new racial profiling law, or more so policy for ICE, and they ruled that it was constitutional.
To detain someone based on their race?
Yep, to use race as a factor in suspicion of a crime committed. Yep.
Okay, well, I didn't know about that policy.
So can we agree that's racist?
Yeah, I can agree that if you're basing something off someone's race, that's racist. Yeah.
Yep, by definition. No, yeah, exactly. By definition, that's racist. So there's an example of Trump's racism.
But if they catch him and they see that there's no criminal record, they let him go, right?
I don't care if they let them go or not. I think that detaining somebody at all for any amount of time, anywhere, at all times, is incredibly wrong, incredibly racist, and just such a grave impediment upon one's personal liberties, rights, and freedoms.
Okay.
Dude, I'm a white guy, clearly, okay? But I could imagine myself in this hypothetical world where I'm not white, I'm Black or brown. If that were to ever happen to me, bro, oh my God, I'd be so pissed. I'd be so pissed, right? And because I'm able to hypothetically place myself in those shoes, I think that we should hold those same reservations of being that pissed towards the system, even when it doesn't directly impact us.
So what do you think is the best solution to the illegal immigration problem then, if it's not deporting as many as possible?
Yeah, we could go over that as soon as you could concede that Donald Trump is racist.
I think sometimes he says or does things that could be considered racist, but I don't think he's intentionally racist. I think he intends or wants to be inclusive. He just doesn't have the maturity to always present that the right way, or to refrain from saying the wrong thing at certain points.
Yeah, he's racist. It's like super racist. Like, we can put a cape on him and officially deem him to be super racist. I just wanted to kind of refute something you said a few minutes ago, saying that Since it was Black History Month, there were a few Black people that that showed up and said kind things about him. Just because there's a few Black people that were willing to say positive things about Trump does not mean that a majority of Black people actually support him. If you take a look at the splits as far as the votes that were cast for Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, a majority of Black people as a whole and non-white people voted for Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. So even if you take a look at outside of the racist policies that he's looking to institute to disenfranchise non-white people, he doesn't have that type of support. And Dean was spot on with the actual Supreme Court ruling. But also you can talk about the fact that Donald Trump has implemented anti-DEIA policies that has cost over 400,000 Black women to lose their jobs within the first year of him being in office. So he continues to actually pass legislation and push policies that will continue to harm anyone that's not white. So I'm not sure how that's not racist.
Also, one other thing I'd like to bring up is all of his Doge hires to attack quote-unquote DEI. We keep on hearing from them under deposition, and one of them just said earlier today or yesterday that any type of show, movie, documentary that specifically targets one group of people is regressive to all of mankind, quote unquote, specifically in response to being asked about documentaries that focus on historical Black injustices like American slavery. So according to Donald Trump and his administration and his hirees, okay, it is detrimental to mankind to create documentaries about slavery.
Oh, wait, but also don't forget the fact that Donald Trump wants to give white people reparations for DEIA. He said DEIA was racist towards white people, and he wants to actually give them payments for DEIA, which DEIA is not about race, it's about removing biases. So he's, again, looking to disenfranchise Black people or anyone else that's not white. So, yeah.
I think reparations of anyone is just not a good idea. Like, unless they've actually been hurt specifically in their lifetime, like directly, I don't think reparations for something enough. Like
That's a horrible argument. Did you know that Black people have actually inherited trauma, genetic trauma from the history of slavery in our country? Like, it's actually traceable. Did you know that? Did you know that there's still actual systems that were created during the time of slavery that are still in place today that impact Black people? Hey, do you know the police started as the slave patrol? And the police still overwhelmingly target Black people and disenfranchise Black people. Have you ever heard of the Veil of Darkness study?
No, I haven't.
The Veil of Darkness study was a study that was completed over 9 million traffic violations within the United States. And it showed that during the day, Black people were disproportionately targeted for traffic violations versus white people. But then at night, it dropped until pretty much equal. Didn't matter if you were Black or white, it was just traffic violations. And it showed that police officers leaned into racial biases. And if they could see the race of the person, then they would target them overwhelmingly, no matter if there was or was not an actual violation. But again, that goes back to the training and the inception of the police here in the US. So, like, that's just a horrible argument.
I don't see the credibility in giving reparations for something that happened for generations past. I think we need to focus on what we're doing now, fixing injustices now, definitely, but to give reparations for something that's already, like, we've moved past slavery. And
do you know what equity is?
Continue to move past it.
Do you know what equity is?
Yeah.
What's equity?
No, I'm sorry. Tell me what it is. I don't have a definition.
Yeah, so equity stems to actually making people whole in order for them to be able to move forward in the same sense as everyone else. So when you talk about like, oh, we've moved past slavery, well, you have to talk about the 400 some odd year history of Black people. And to be clear, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, I'm advocating for reparations. I'm just telling you your premise of reparations is silly. But if you talk about the amount of time that it took for Black people to be considered equal, and you can talk about slavery, reclamation, Black codes, Jim Crow, segregation, like all of these periods that led up to Black people actually being able to be a fully functional member of society. It's been, what, since the Civil Rights Act, right? Since Black people have actually been able to participate in society as a whole. So you're telling me all this time that Black people have been in the country, they have been disenfranchised and less than legally by the law. But now you're saying that, oh, it's over, everything is good, and we need to just move forward. That doesn't make sense. But again, I'm not even advocating for it. I'm just telling you your talking point is dog shit.
I mean, I don't think everything is good, but I don't think reparations is the way to go. I think.
Wait, I'm sorry. I have to hop in here. You said that reparations would be justified for people that were directly impacted, right?
I don't think we should be giving reparations to anyone. I think.
Wait, what? Wait, no. Earlier you did say for those who were not for those who were not directly impacted. And I guess a question that I had. Well, guess what? There are still elderly Black individuals that live in this country that were directly impacted by segregated schools, some being kicked out of town at 7 p.m., segregated restaurants, segregated restrooms, segregated everything. So following your view, apparently you think that elderly Black people in this country deserve direct reparations?
Yeah, if they were directly impacted, I would concede that would be something that might be worth looking into.
Okay, so now let me ask you another question. So it's worth looking into giving it to the elderly Black people. Now here's the second thing. Obviously the children of these elderly Black people, well, they also were subjugated to direct racial oppression through the legal system because guess what? They had to grow up in homes that had a significantly lower socioeconomic standard compared to the average white home due to the fact that, well, all the Black homes were pushed off to the edges of the town. They couldn't work at the vast majority of all businesses, couldn't go to the quote-unquote good schools, all right? Couldn't get on the good sport teams, go to the good universities, so on and so forth. All right, or they could even go to university at all, which is a whole other question on its own, right? And that's going to be the children of the elderly Black folks. So do you think that the children of the elderly Black Americans should also get direct reparations?
How would you determine that? Who's had those situations where they were directly impacted or not? How would you determine that?
Well, I mean, I think that we see the direct impact on average. So I just say that we average this out, okay, and then we make sense of it all and pay those reparations out. But regardless of how we pragmatically make sense of it, do you ideologically agree that elderly Black people and their children deserve reparations because elderly Black people and their children, we could agree, have been directly impacted by legal racism and segregation?
I think we have to draw a line between like giving certain people something and then just adding it onto it more and more.
Well, I mean, but I just justified why we should add this thing on because the children of all these elderly Black people grew up in homes that had significantly less because of legal segregation. Do you understand that? Like, you agree to that, right? They grew up in homes with significantly less, not for any arbitrary or abstract reason, but rather for a very specific material reason, that very specific material reason being that the parents in which governed the homes did not have access to the same level of resources and educational quality that white people at the time did.
Yeah, but I think you need to consider like how it's going to impact the government. If we start giving money to all of these people, how is it going to impact the government? That's going to impact all of the other citizens. Everyone who pays taxes, right? It's going to make things.
So you're okay with spending $1 billion a day in Iran to kill children, but you're not okay with spending a fraction of that to pay reparations out to people who experience systemic injustices that were not true of an arbitrary nature, but rather true of a very direct and concrete nature that we could look at and observe.
Also, let's not forget, you do understand that reparations, like our country has a history of paying out reparations, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it does. And I think we're one of the few countries that is
we're not.
of it.
We're not.
What other countries are as hyper focused on this as we are?
Any of the countries that have overwhelmingly harmed people, like Germany has paid reparations to Jewish people. Like it's a thing. But question, you know who got paid reparations after the Civil War?
The South?
Slave owners. The slave owners who had to give up their slaves were actually paid reparation. Mm-hmm. And again, our country has paid reparations to slave owners. They've paid reparation to Japanese people. There's a history of being able to do that. And Dean just highlighted the actual implications where you can say, oh, if you were directly affected, yeah, I mean, there's a lineage, but that also goes back to the point I was making as far as equity. Until you actually create that equity, then like there is no actual moving forward because you're starting on 10 and I'm starting on 2. So there's no closing the gap quick enough if you're starting on 10 and I'm starting on 2.
I think we have to be able to recognize that the government is not the sole responsible for that. Like, people need to be able to work hard and get to a certain place on their own as well. They have that
that's a
responsibility.
thing. That's a thing. The philosophical argument for reparations is directly targeting the American government. It is, right? Because a lot of people will say reparations don't make sense if the victim of said oppression isn't still alive today and the perpetuator of said oppression isn't the one that's paying the reparation. Well, the perpetuator of said oppression would be the government that we still have today that we had 50 years ago, 100 years ago, and 250 years ago. And we were just able to describe in a very limited sense with just like 2 back and forths how, yeah, there's many people in which still do face the direct consequences of said oppression. But I'm going to go ahead and drop down. I'm going to start my own live. Parker, I did just see your text, so we'll do that. But one last thing I do want to say before it goes. I remember being like 14. I remember being 15. Okay. I remember being a Trump supporter, and I remember thinking that reparations are crazy. Okay. And, you know, I think what I want you to consider, that's maybe one of the first conscious thoughts I had as a younger dude, is that if your grandparents are still alive, like mine, my grandparents are still alive, they grew up drinking from white-only water fountains. They grew up going to school in white-only schools. They grew up eating at white-only restaurants. They grew up in towns where the cops would knock on every single door and kick all of the black people out that worked for the white people's maids by 7 p.m. Okay? Your grandparents, if they went on any road trips growing up, they would drive through towns and looking out the window in the back seat of the car, they would see the white-only signs everywhere and the colored-only signs everywhere too. All right? This isn't something that happened forever ago. I'm telling you, if your grandparents are still alive, ask them about it. They will tell you a story, regardless of that story is coming from the perspective of a white person, black person, brown person. They will have one for you because that is the world in which they grew up in.
Okay. I mean, I only have one grandparent who's still alive, and I don't think she would want to tell me about her history.
All right, I'm gonna go and drop and start my own life. Peace out.
I'm actually gonna take off as well, but I want to leave you with one last thing, and you were just saying that people need to work hard and basically grab those straps on their boots and start tugging. Do you know what the wealth gap was after slavery?
No.
Okay, so after slavery, after Juneteenth, so after 1865, the wealth gap in the United States was 60-1. There was a 60-1 ratio. All right. So basically, for every $1 that black people had, 60, white people had 60. And in 160 years, the wealth gap has shrunk from a ratio of 60-1 to a ratio of 7-1. So when you sit here and talk about like, people just need to work hard. I mean, 160 years and being able to close the wealth gap after literally having white people having free labor and being able to disenfranchise black people for years and years and years, legally enslaving them. I think you don't understand the ability or what black people have accomplished in just that amount of time. So your entire point is moot. Like you think that people are lazy or people not doing anything, but in order to be able to achieve that amount of success in that short of time is absolutely mind-blowing. So you're just wrong.
I mean, I don't think that's the case for every single person. I don't want to make universal claims, but at the same time,